Hello and welcome back to the FNtasia podcast, episode 5. We are going strong, and I'm super excited to jump into it because we have some actual FNCS related talk. I feel like the last 2 weeks has been a bit of waffle, but we get to get into some of the fun stuff at FNCS. We got a wonderful group of people here today with you. I got the lovely Coach Harry, the man that's taking on the world 1v50. It feels like 1v1000s, beefing everyone he can. The amazing Coach Boop is back here as well. Again, he's recovering, doing strong. I saw you were streaming recently, Boop, which is great to see.
And, hard work.
It's very hard work, very hard work. And then, of course, the NA connoisseur himself, we got somebody's gun joining us again, friend of the show. How's everyone doing this week? What's everyone been up to?
Nothing much really. Just been watching, evals. Geocache Cup's finally back. Well, for the last Geocache Cup of the season, but finally got Geocache Cups back. So getting back into some duo competition before FNCS. It's been good. It's finally been good to get some competition back.
I mean, yeah, sort of competition. I mean, it's been pretty good, getting back into the swing of things, streaming a little bit, watching a few gameplays. It looks like I haven't really missed too much. Everyone still kind of stinks a little bit. So, it's been great.
The usual.
For me, been working, pretending I watch Fortnite so I could show up on stuff like this, and then work in my garden. So, it's been good.
You better pretend good today, because that NA upper bracket talk, bro, I'm looking right down at you, bro.
Peterbot and Pollo, that's all that matters, right?
All right. That's true. That is true. Speaking of Peterbot and Pollo, Harry, you've been dealing with a lot of their fans this week, it feels like. What's the crack?
Yeah, a lot of people aren't too happy that I said and that's a little bit of an understatement. They're not too happy that I said Peterbot and Pollo won't qual globals. Then they got the 6 out of 6. Has my opinion changed? No, not at all. My opinion's the exact same. I still don't think they're going to qual.
Good. Stand on it.
Yeah.
Stand on it.
Qual globals. If NA grows some balls and play for height a little bit, then it'd be a completely different story. But anyway, we'll get onto it in a bit. But no, it is fun. It's all good fun.
I love how everyone just completely dodged how Reese said, yeah, that's my take as well. They all were just like, oh, Coach Harry, this Coach Harold guy, what's his problems? Reese had said the exact same thing. Well, not exact same. He did say they thought they would qual globals, but yeah, it was. That was
Harry went full out, right? Reese is I think this gets second. If you're gonna commit to it, you gotta go full path. You gotta go on the warpath like Harry is. He's doing the right thing.
Well, I mean,
you also had more smoke as well, though, because you also had the smoke with Queasy and Thomas. Queasy was live reacting to the video of you saying disaster for them as well.
Yeah. But
you're really beating everyone.
This is the thing. Is all the NA fans who just saw that clip were just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just EU biased." If I think you're shit, I'll say you're shit. There's no I'm not only NA bias, EU bias even. It's just I feel like if someone's gonna play bad, I'll just say they're playing bad.
Fill me in, Harry. What is the take? Because you guys keep hinting at it, but I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about.
So I don't think that Peterbot and Pollo, if we're going to get back onto it, I don't think Peterbot and Pollo will qual to globals this season. Okay. I think that
it's actually a hot take. Damn.
Yeah. I think day one, they'll probably still win, maybe by 100 points. I don't think it'll be 6 out of 6. I don't think they're going to be able to, hopefully in the Crown Finals lobby, it wouldn't be that easy for them. Hopefully some teams look towards height a little bit more, seeing that in a couple of their games where they were on height, they were pretty scuffed, to be honest. They were easily 500 mats together going into second last moving. And then also, I think day 2 Grimgate's going to be griefed. I think it's going to be completely grief. I think teams are going to looking to contest or fight or third party or whatever into it. And obviously we know there's not as many mats in there. You watch them take the bot. They're literally taking the bot in the open. They're literally running around in the open, taking the bot in Grimgate, and no one's doing anything. The one team I saw was Backer and Pards come in, and they literally went there. They got a couple of tags and then ran all the way as far away as possible. It's all it takes is a couple more teams to look for a little bit of search in Grimgate, and it becomes grief.
All right, man. If you guys want to hear more about this, go watch the video, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear this.
The Grimgate podcast.
Man. Let's save
it. So the shit list so far is Peterbot, Pollo, and Queasy and Thomas HD. Any more you want to add to the list so far? We might as well go through it.
No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
More too. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't think there was really much. I've been on holiday this past week, as we mentioned. That's also why Reese isn't here, for anyone wondering, because Reese is still away, I think. But I've not really been looked into what's going on. Has there been anything interesting? I saw you were viewing party in ESL group. I saw now that you're back, you were watching that. Was there any fun? Anything interesting happening there?
It was all right. Like I think a lot of the people, it's a very niche audience. A lot of the people that enjoy it actively love it and enjoy it. And there's a lot of people who just come in like, yeah, this shit's boring. I don't want to watch it anymore. Like, why are you watching this? You know, there's something else going on. So I've personally been enjoying it mainly because, you know, there's a few teams that are actively streaming it and making content out of it. There's a few up and comers that are going crazy. Like we were watching Cantry yesterday. It was like this absolute goat demon from the CIS that's destroying everyone on Pink's team. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Still maintain that there's a lot that can be done and changed on top of it, but it's been decent.
Cool. Any of you guys watch anything from it? I saw like Muzz's team won in NA again or something, so it wasn't too much. I was like, oh, I need to go back and watch this, but was there anything from you guys?
I haven't watched it. I have zero interest in watching it.
Yeah, the only thing I've been watching is Archie play it, which is quite funny because he
That does sound fun.
Yeah, because he hasn't played any of it. He just gets very angry very quickly, so it's quite fun to watch. But no, at this moment in time, I'm kind of on the same wavelength that I still think there's so much that can be done. First of all, I think the hardpoint map is, before we get on to too much about ESL, I think the hardpoint map's pretty boring to watch. I think Capture the Flag's a little bit more enjoyable to watch. But yeah, I still think there's so much more to be done from a viewer standpoint to make it more interesting for the viewers and even for the players as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did Archie playing it, actually playing it? Like the only thing I saw from him was like he had a sniper in his hand, he had a guy standing still, he missed that shot, said oh, and then shot another guy, oh, shot another guy, oh, and he missed 3 shots. It wasn't great, but
yeah, don't ask him about his sniper accuracy. Let's just not ask him about that. But it was fun to watch. It was really fun to watch. But actually watching like high level competition, it's not, in my opinion, it's not as interesting.
Interesting. There's actually we've had progression today. Like I was talking about on stream about like lineups and stuff, and then FNtasia just like sent me a whole Discord full of all of his lineups that he has on Clap to the Flag and Hardpoint. So there is a little bit more evolution to the gameplay. It's starting to heat up a little bit, but we'll only see that once there's like an official broadcast, you know, highlighting specific points and things changing.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a given though that it was going to evolve, right? Like it's almost, you know, had to, but yeah, we'll see more about ESL as things progress. Still waiting for an official announcement. It did get leaked though in the map. I don't know how many people saw that. Quanti found glitched through the map and saw like a poster that is like underneath the map that shows the official announcement for it, where they've said, yeah, it's going to be a qualifier, and it even has like the trophy in there as well. I think Boop, you said you found or something like that.
Yeah, I had to go into replays to make sure because I don't trust a single thing that Quanti tweets or anything that someone tweets out when they have a lot of on trying to make some impressions. But yeah, you could just go into replays, look underneath the map. There it says massive esports World Cup qualifiers, DreamHack. There's going to be online qualifiers, I believe July 5th or July 6th. But nothing about prize pool because obviously you can't really leak prize pools or talk about prize pools when it comes to creative maps and stuff. But you know, we're a week further. We have still less information about it, and that's pretty much the name of the game so far for ESL. So yeah,
not much there still. But anyway, before we get into the semi-final preview, I do want to say we're gonna do like this sort of preview a bit differently. In terms of just like how we run things, like, you know, we want to try keep things fun and keep things fresh and discuss things in new ways other than like the typical same old like the tier list that people would do or like the listen. And there's room for that to be done, but you know, we just don't want to like spam the same stuff. So the way we cover semifinals will be a bit different, but I think people will enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to it myself. I think first things first, we'll go through and do a bit of like lower bracket talk, because obviously FNTS is split into lowers and semis, or an upper, sorry. Do you actually want to, you're the format guy. I know you answered this question a million times during your stream. So run the format through, because I actually forgotten it partly myself.
Right.
So.
Yeah. You remember it, but you just need me to refresh the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's so we've gone through 2 weeks of open qualifiers now, where every single person's placement when they make it into round number 4 equals amount of points, aka series points. All those guys with their points have been divided into a big boy leaderboard of 250 different teams. The top 50 teams are in what is called the upper bracket. Now, upper bracket is what you can basically qualify to the FNtasia Grand Finals for in the first day of this weekend. So upper bracket is going to be 5 games with those top 50 teams. Each game winner will qualify to the FNtasia Grand Finals, and then the other teams that don't win a game after 5 games, the top 20 placing teams, go through to the next upper bracket where they have to play another 5 games to win and qualify to Grand Finals, and anyone below the top 25 will go back down to the lower bracket. And then lower bracket is basically like it's another opens format, basically like round 4 of the FNCS, but the intention here is that you have to play as top 25 in order to make it, or I believe top 30, sorry, in order to make it into the upper bracket so that you can join those games. And then in upper bracket number 2, we play 5 more games. The same sort of thing happens. 20 teams go back to upper bracket number 3. The bottom 30 go down to lower bracket number 2, and then we continue on. And then finally in the upper bracket 3, it is no longer winning format. Basically, all you have to do is place top 25 out of 50 teams, and then you make it into Grand Finals. And then in lower bracket number 3, people again qualify from the previous one. It's very confusing. And then
top 15 for that one.
Yeah, you have to place top 15 to make it through. So essentially, for those that really don't follow Fortnite that much, I would personally say it's one of the easiest formats to make Grand Finals in a long time. We can see that. But, there's some trickiness to it. It's very easy if you make it to upper bracket round 3 because half the lobby makes it into grands. But if you fumble or you mess up, you can have teams like Trulix and Chicho who didn't make Grand Finals last season just flunking out of the format.
Was there like anyone who went back and like checked what percentage of or how many upper bracket teams that started day 1 didn't qual?
I believe there is a Kinch tweet about that. Like, what was like the most efficient path to make it through to Grand Finals? And it was like, I think it was like upper bracket into upper bracket number 3 or something. Like, I don't fully remember, but there is an efficient path. I mean, logically, like, I think the best way to get in is just to make upper bracket round 3. Winning a game is so random. So
I only asked that just to ask, like, in terms of how many teams started in upper bracket 1 and didn't qual still. Like, like you say, it's like it feels like a format that is pretty easy to get through, especially if you start in the upper bracket 1. But yeah, we'll get into it. It's funny though, because the way that ends up getting broadcasted for anybody who watches like the FNCS broadcast and that is that we only sort of watch the upper bracket. So last season I actually didn't watch lower bracket, so I don't know what those lower bracket games look like. I have an image in my head of what I think they probably look like, but I ended up not watching any of those lower bracket games. But this season there are a bunch of really good teams in that lower bracket that will be interesting, to sort of see how they progress through. And so I want us to start off by discussing the lower bracket teams, and mostly because there's so many. Like, is it like there's like 150 or is it like 200 of those teams? Yeah, there's 200 teams in lower bracket. So we're not going to talk about all of them, but I did pick out like a couple of the ones of like some of the most notable names, some of the bigger names that people are familiar with. And I want us all to sort of give our prediction about that team. But the twist is that you have a maximum of 3 words. So you got to describe or predict that team's fortunes and future within FNCS in 3 words or less. And so I can already imagine with some of these names and some of these teams, some of these will be fun. Some of them will be a bit more straightforward, but I want to jump right into it. Describe or predict this team's FNCS in 3 words or less. We're going to run through some of the EU ones first, and we'll get to some of the NA ones. And the first one that popped out for me, I'm going to bring it up on screen here. Wheat and Shamoki. Does anyone want to get us started off?
Okay. So, all right. I'm not. I'm ready for that.
3 words.
Yeah, you got 3 words, but you already used more than 3 words, Harry. Yeah, you already used more than 3 words.
Game winner. Upper bracket. Well, I don't know. Game winner. Game winner. Game winner. They'll win a game. They'll win a game in day 2. I think they'll win a game in day 2. They'll get through lower and win a game in day 2.
Okay. I like that. Game winner. Game on the day
Game.
two. That's 4 words. So I don't.
Oh, well,
I don't
you know,
think
it's close enough. It's close
we-
enough.
We gotta start like giving fines for people who don't hit the word quota. We'll go around to you, but we'll go like clockwise at this.
So I was trying to do the mental gymnastics to see like if we're doing this in turns to see who gets Mongo and Savage, but I'm glad we're going around the board here.
Right, who does get
Wheat and Shamiki, I would say falls under expectations.
Ooh.
All right, you just got to show me up like that. Doing a better
Yeah.
a better answer than me. Yeah, a better answer.
He beat you. He beat
Yeah, there's less than 3 words. But I mean, Wheat and Shamiki have been like, I mean, I think they came in last FNtasia Grand Finals being back-to-back Dual Cash Cup winners, I believe, right? And then they sort of fell and then didn't really do too well. So they're always highly expected to do well, but they never really come up to expectations, I think.
Yeah, I think for me, should qual out of lowers. That's more words, but
you.
should make
Out
uppers.
of
There's 3.
lowers.
Should make uppers.
Should make up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Should make uppers. I think that's okay. For me, I think I'm gonna go.
No pressure.
I think I'm gonna go. Where's the hype?
Ooh.
Is there an apostrophe S in there? Is that
Yeah,
legal?
where's? Because that's one word.
Yeah.
Where's?
Yeah.
Come on, man! Don't try to test my English. Out here.
We're in
And I
English
say that
class.
because early on in the season, like you said, Boop, like they came off a season where they were, winning the cash cups. There was a lot of talk about like Wheat being this like crazy player, and obviously he's not necessarily Swizzy, but he is like a very, very top talented player. And a lot of the times when I'm watching them, like they just end up in these situations where I'm like, this just looks like shambles. Like this is like the season of like for fighters, and I'm like not seeing crazy fighting when I'm watching these guys in situations where they need it. And so I'm just still wondering, like, where's the hype? Like I was promised all this greatness. I ain't seen it yet. But yeah, that's it for Wheat and Shamaki. I don't think that they will make it to uppers, and they should call for Grand, I reckon.
Those are one of the few Grand Glacier teams I think that exists within the region, right? So there's an empty spot there for them potentially in the Grand Finals. So
That's what I was about to say. It's them and Nathan and CZB. And it feels like it's just, I mean, we'll talk about when we get to uppers, but yeah, Nathan and CZB, like in finals, don't look as convincing. So I have more faith.
I mean, it's fitting to the draw spot. That is legitimately the battle of the mid. I gotta be honest.
It is.
Grand Glacier is
Grand Glacier. I think somebody told me that I should start landing in Grand Glacier. I was like, are you having a laugh? Like, why? Like,
every zone pools there, so.
I mean, outside of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, next team on the list for us. Cringe and Noms. Does anyone want to get us started with Cringe and Noms?
Let me think.
Queasy was right.
Queasy was right. I like that. Dive into that a bit more.
I'd say Cringe and Noms have been like they've been very good and they are legitimately great opens warriors. But when it comes to like doing much after that, it's been sort of up and down and inconsistent. This season they've been okay. And they're probably not expected to win a game, I think, in any of the upper bracket rounds, but I think they'll make it through to upper bracket round 3 just because they're very good in open formats. So Queasy was right, was more that I thought they were going to be like one of the decent next specs things, but they're sort of, kind of coasting. They're not really that much up there, but they're decent.
Yeah, I think not their time is like appropriate for this. They're not where they need to be yet to be a contender.
Yeah, I'll say I don't know if controversial, but should have split or should have split.
Oh no, you can do should have split. This two is fine. It's 3 or less. You got that.
Yeah,
got that.
I think when you're looking at them as 2 individuals, I'm not going to go into it too much, but it feels like the vibes are already kind of shot. It feels like when you see that entire beef on Twitter, it feels like this or lower bracket run or upper bracket run isn't going to be as close to what it should be. If we think about last season, they came in with no pressure, kind of underdogs. And you go to this season and you already got all these like the pressure on them. The vibes are a lot worse. And also Lavish Lair isn't as clean cut as it was, just Queasy and Cringe and Noms. You've got Prism and Kasper Inovich land there. You've got Hutty and who's Hati playing with again? Why can't I remember?
Hydra.
Hati and Hydra.
Yeah.
Hati and Hydra playing together, and you've got like a loads of teams, kind of like Battle of the Mid again, where you've got a bunch of tier 2, tier 3 teams landing there, and it's not as simple as it's just 2 good teams at an insane spot. It's now you have a lot of decent teams landing at a decent spot. It's not as easy at a spot like Lavish Lair, and I think just looking at them as players, I feel like there's a world where if they had split and found 2 separate duos, they maybe have done better with like the honeymoon phase with the duo.
Yeah.
See, I regret my 3 words now because I actually forgot that they actually were trying to split. So mine would have been like have self-respect, because this is something that I've talked about a little bit. It's like it happened to Reed in Rituals too. Like if your duo is splitting with you and like, you know what, I don't want to play anymore, I'm gonna find someone else for lower bracket. If they just come back crawling, like, you know, like I miss you, like I want to play again, like come on man, we were great.
Don't take them back.
Yeah, don't take them back. You know, learn something. This is a life lesson for everybody. Like, you know, you're better than that. Have some self-respect. So I agree with Harry on that sense.
Bro, we all keep coming back to Fortnite though, and that's the abusive
Yeah.
relationship, so we can't talk.
We've been conditioned. Yeah.
My 3 words would just be ruin their momentum, because it's like, of course, things didn't quite go like as well as they would have wanted coming into lowers, but then to split or like fake the split and now get back together, like you're sort of saying, Harry, it's like the vibes, you sort of shoot the vibes in the foot. It's like it's never gonna be the same now, you know. Like it's I don't see a world where now like things just progress better for them. It's like this season's gonna happen and then they'll probably split and have to find new people anyway. So yeah, season's kind of just started. All right, on to the next. This one's a fun one. Kiriachi and Default. Does anyone want to get us started?
McAfee antivirus? Like,
What's
I
that
mean,
even mean?
it was trying to be some indication about software updates or something. I don't know. Like, I don't. That team is so random to come back all of a sudden and play it. And actually, I honestly didn't even realize they qualified lower bracket this season. I saw Kiriachi popping up here and there and doing kind of well. Absolute no expectations for them. I got to be honest. It's just big names and bigger voices sometimes as well.
Yeah, I'll say move on, man. Like you've had your time. You've had your time. They're landing. If you don't know where they're landing island at the top of the map. Yeah. So it's not like they're cooking with an insane drop spot. You know, they're going to make grand finals and do insanely well. It's like they might make it to uppers. They might even still make it to grands, but the ceiling of how they can perform from that drop spot is already at probably 35th or 30th, right? So it's like Kiriachi's coming back to the game to get 30th. Like, I don't know. It feels like you could just move on. Then be fine. I don't really get it. Like, I feel like if you're in that sort of situation, you surely just put yourself in a better position to perform better.
I'm gonna change mine now. After what you two are saying, I'm changing mine. Respect my GOAT. Yeah, put some respect on Kiriashi's name, bruh. Like, okay, in terms of if we're just talking, because Harry, you're sort of talking the projection of like the bigger picture of what this looks like. And like, what's the point in terms of like FNCS, you know, semifinals, lower bracket? For me, Kiriachi, I could see a world where they're gonna make it through. They're gonna make it to grands. What happens in grands? Let's not dive too much into that. That spot that they're landing at, like that island up north. I'm sure we'll talk about it maybe a bit depending on how the upper bracket talk goes. But yeah, not the best spot in the world. Let's just call it like that. So I don't expect too much out of them, you know, in the big picture of things, but I think they make it through lowers. I think they probably end up like scrapping it through, you know, on day 3 of semifinals, you know, whether it be, you know, one of the upper bracket games or the lower bracket games.
They probably can't even get paid out, right? Because I think Kiriachi and Default are both probably still residing in Russia. So it seems more like a hobby at this point than anything productive.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing it for the love of the game. They just want to
the love of flying to Surge from that spot.
SBG, you got one? You got one for us for this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can they cash? Like, just like Boob just said, is there even a point to them playing this? If they get first place, are they going to be able to go to globals? Probably not. Can they even get the prize money? Probably not. So, like, I don't know. What are we doing here?
You guys don't get it, man. It's the love of the game. You guys don't get it. When you're like a GOAT of the game, like Kiriachi, you just gotta keep going for the love of the game. But some of you wouldn't get it, clearly.
Nah, I wouldn't get it.
On to the next. Anderlecht and Sato. I'm gonna start us off here. Allez le bleu, man.
Okay, buddy.
Man, but Allez le bleu. That's my hey, I'll be honest, when near the start of the season, I thought these guys were gonna be like, a team that probably makes it uppers. I'm not sure what week went bad for them in quals. Now I kind of want to check, like, what week in quals went bad. That means they're
week 2.
Week 2, did they just dud completely? They don't make it out.
They got 48th in week 1, 129 in week 2.
Okay, so week 2 they kind of dudded. That's not great. But I think these guys will be good. I think these guys will make it to grands. In the little that I saw of them earlier in the season, I thought they were actually pretty all right, and so I think they'll be all right. They'll scrape through.
Yeah, to back up your point, I'll say the French hope. I think they are just the best team from France. You watch them play, and I think the way they innovate the game, like, using weapons that no one else is using. Anderlecht a lot of the time is using the drum gun, which no one else uses. You're seeing the way they use their rotates in end game. It's I call it the Anderlecht classic, which is like at the start of movings they fizz and then wood tarp at the start of movings, like just tops and floors and bounce off it so they never get tagged. And then, like, just the way how aggressive they are within those end games, like constantly looking for pre-edits and constantly looking for that aggression. They're just so good. I'm actually shocked they're in lower bracket. This might suit them more being in lower bracket because I'm maybe a little bit more worried in them in a finals lobby. If we're going off last season, even though they did really well in grands, and to be fair, they clutched up from the worst landing spot, but contesting that spot now, and now Aqua and Noah aren't there. Who knows what's going to happen? That's my biggest worry for them. Is you watch them play that spot in opens, and it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. It feels like they're just playing for the slurp truck and padding to Cami split and trying to key that, and that's a bit weird. But in general, watching them play is just so fun. They're one of my favorite teams I've watched this season. It's such a joy to watch them.
I see both of you are really, really trying to go under the intention of the French community. Try to keep it going. I wish I had a different opinion. Mine's going to be under the radar. Last season I had very high hopes for them to qualify into the. I think they made upper bracket number 1 and they did pretty well. And they looked like game winners, but they only ended up qualifying to one of the later brackets. So they sort of went under expectations back then, and then they did very well in grand finals. Now, they're kind of under the radar. I don't have much expectation for them. I only realized that they won grand finals after one of them got angry at me after one of my predictions. Like, oh, you actually were pretty decent. We're actually like tier 2 teams. So I think they'll do fine. I mean, Anderlecht in the grand finals always happen. So
yeah. For me, it's over the edge. Like, Anderlecht is on the other side of his career, and I don't really expect much.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Not believing in the Frenchies, Taylor. What's that about?
You gotta give me something to believe in, man. It's just it hasn't been as good as it has been. There was one point where he was like one of the best teams, one of the best players in Europe, and it's been a while since we've been there.
I think that's fair.
And Anderlecht, I kind of see where you're going. The only tweets I've seen from Anderlecht in the past week, I'm looking at right now. It's a wager website. It's an
money
NFT up. Crypto thing. My bro is getting his money up. Like he's already won grand finals, I guess. At this point. So I wonder how dedicated he is at this point.
But you look at that placement
progression.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you look at their placements, they are crazy good. Like, apart from that 1 week, every single placement is in top 100 every single week. They had a 5th in a Eurocash Cup finals as well, a 6th in the Performance Eval Cup, so first without a win, or second without a win in the Eval Cup finals. It's like, they are looking really, really hot. I'm not just doing this to defend for the French fans, but yeah.
They're so hot right now, dude.
Yeah, they are just so hot. But no, they're on some good form. I think that round 2 kind of puts a lot less pressure on them from outside fans not really noticing them.
Okay, on to the next. This one should be a fun one. Moneymaker and FNtasia.
Should have stayed banned.
No, I was gonna...
Go ahead, Harry.
I was going to say depends on Twitch, because Moneymaker unbanned or Moneymaker banned, because Moneymaker unbanned wins 2 games in Eval Cup finals and comes second in the other one. Moneymaker banned barely makes out of opens. So it depends. If he's unbanned, I have high hopes for him. The vibes will be good. He'll be feeling it. It looks like Moneymaker's quite a momentum-based player. So if he's banned on Twitch, go next season.
Okay. Anything there, Taylor, from you?
The EU Bucky very much reminds me of, not like full attitude wise, but I think they play better when they turn the stream on and fully troll and like screw around, because otherwise they don't seem to play as well. And I think the same thing for Bucky. Like when he's playing on stream, he may be trolling and like pissing off his teammate and coach, but I feel like they play better versus playing off stream, trying to take it seriously when that's just not going to be a thing.
Are they still being coached by Shoko? Does anyone know?
What, Moneymaker?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard them at all in the call, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine one is probably going to be Copenhagen wasn't... Copenhagen... I forgot the last word. Copenhagen made them. There you go. That's it. I think a lot of the expectations people have of Moneymaker and F9 based off of them qualifying Copenhagen. You know, like, oh, they made Copenhagen a very good team. They made finals of Copenhagen. They're a very good team. But I mean, they made it to Copenhagen through one of the last chance qualifiers. I think the last chance qualifier. They've sort of steadily been on a downward trend so far. I know they came back and Moneymaker got banned and he did well in Eval Cup and won 2 games. But they've sort of been very middling and doesn't seem like the effort is really there that much. I feel like they're on the brink of splitting at some point. I think it just takes one more bad placement before it actively happens, or one of the Swedish teams to end up splitting. So this is one of the teams that I would probably, as much as I love Moneymaker, I would say is I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make grand finals this weekend.
Mine was just they need Pink. You mentioned their journey to globals of last chance, right? Like last year, and like Pink was coaching them for that, and I know he takes a lot of credit for them making it to globals. Trust me, I know he does. And like you've seen, like since then, like there's just been a very slow and steady decline. And so I say they need Pink in the context of like they maybe not even just in they need Pink, they need help. Like they just need help from somebody. Like someone just needs to lock in with them and help them out. Which is part of why I wanted to know if Shoko was still helping them. But yeah, chat saying he's not. Shout out to Moneymaker though. So did he get banned again? He got banned again, right?
He got banned for saying that he wants to lick Bloomy's face, I believe, with his exact words. You know,
interesting.
So he actually does have a lot in common with Bucky, as VG said.
Yeah. Chap and Teeny, in 3 words or less.
Next FNCS winners.
Oh my God.
Like I've seen that regard to a lot of people. Like, where have these guys come from? You know, like all of a sudden, Teeny and Misha split at the start of the season. Chap was gonna end up playing with Vico if Pink ended up dropping him. Pink didn't end up dropping him, so Chap was left alone. Now he's together with Teeny, and all of a sudden they've had this insane run of games where they're looking like a top team in EU, and I don't know why. You know. But they do have the big Grawl in the way, as someone said in chat, you know, and maybe they can stop them.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gunner Grease Savage. I think I think Chap and Teeny are easily going to make grands. I think they are one of the strongest teams we have in lower brackets. You can just look at their duo cash cup performances, right? And from what it seems like, their biggest issue is the landing spot. Once you get to those higher lobbies, or higher level lobbies, the amount of decent teams that were landing at the spot was ridiculous. They were contested like 3 to 4 times every single game, and you're watching Savages the exact same. You know, you watch them play and how well they play. You know how good aggressive they are towards forecast tower, how aggressive they are just in general for power positions, and actually just making sure they're in a game-winning position. It makes them such a strong team to watch, right? And as I said, as you said, Boop, like, you know, they're only going to get better. You know, Teeny has a lot. It's something we don't talk about. Teeny has a lot of experience. He's been around for a long time, and he obviously qualified to LAN. He came 3rd in that FNCS. You know, he's been around a lot of time, and then having another insane fighter with Chap as well, who doesn't have that experience. You know, it is a recipe for success. And as you said, like if it's not this season because of the landing spot situation, or whatever, they're only going to get better and better.
So I did see on like the map KXR made that they are landing Pink split for lowers, apparently. I don't know if that's changed now.
I think it's changed because they were going to go there, and then Pink split was just even more. So then it went back, if I remember correctly. I will look though.
Well, my 3 words is actually quoted from a very great smart man that you guys all know. His name is Coach Harry, and my 3 words are the real deal. I like Chapentini, man. Like, I remember when we talked about them like joining up together on the pod, like we all were like bigging it up and saying in terms of like, in theory, that just sounds like a really good team. Like they you know what I mean? Like it just sounds like a top level EU team. And I think from what we've seen of them since they've been together, they are just a top level EU team. It's like it's been very much, I think, what the expectation was, if you're locked in at least. So yeah, I like these guys. I think they'll make it through, semis and be playing in grands for sure.
I've got nothing else to add. You guys said it all.
You'll retweet. All right,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. Janice and Flixie. How did we end up here, man? How did we end up here?
Screwed by servers. We'll get on to it. We'll get on to elephant in the room. Round 3, they would have qualified through round 3 if their server didn't crash. Should they have easily qualified anyway? Probably, but the fact they're in here is ridiculous. Like, they are a team who should be qualifying to upper bracket easily. And, if we're looking at their week 2, right? Their week 2, they came 22nd when they made it to round 4. So it's like, it's not that they've lost the capability of being able to do well. They just had the round 3 situation in week 1 where their server crashed. They didn't get to play that last game, and yeah, they were screwed by the servers.
SPG, you got anything on Janice and Flixie?
Yeah, win qual 1 or win lower 1. I think they're probably the best team that's in lowers.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, interesting. Group.
I have no words. That's way. Have no words. Yeah, I mean, like Harry said, they got screwed out of FNTasia's call because of the last server issue. They're one of those teams that are, again, just kind of doing good, and then every single duo casket where they see them make it in, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going to be one of the guys that I think could get top 5 because they're looking like game winners and looking decent. But I think the motivation has gone from them a little bit, and obviously it's going to be very demoralizing when you have shit like that happen to you as well. I'm not fully convinced they're like gonna breeze through the FNCS lower bracket. I think a lot can go wrong, but they have to make it through. It'd be an unbelievable milk if they didn't.
I'd say this would be more of a prediction for like if they do make it through and what happens further, but it could still be relevant here in terms of Reckless Railway Surge ? If I can add my question marks.
Question mark sounds like a couple of words there. I don't know.
No, but like it's an extra character. I don't know if we're gonna let that one slide. But
yeah, come on.
Yeah, I've just seen on a lot of games like I think if they're cons, they'll have a bit of early surge, right? And then with all the shenanigans happening at Pink Split, and then maybe they'll be good for surging in a lot of these lower games. And again, I didn't watch lower games last major, so I actually don't know what they look like. I don't know if that will be a problem, but I just
they're like
know
cash cup games. They're like,
okay.
They're surging like 50-50 zones, but they're not like
it's not a problem. Yeah, okay. Then if that's the case, it's not a problem. But I just wonder what happens if they do make it through. Then what does that sort of look like? But yeah, there's not much there for me on Janice and Flixie. Bit of a weird team. They're one of those teams that's like, yeah, like how are we here? Type shit.
Yeah,
it's also one of. They also have one of those things where they're so adamant on like getting their own job spot uncontested. They want to have the entirety of Reckless Railways. I mean, that thing is massive. Like they've been begging me to have it like one split in scrims as well. It's like you can and you probably will W key them in like a duo Cash Cup final and FNCS final. But at the end of the day, like the spot's so big, you're only doing more harm to yourself trying to fight a team in Reckless when you got multiple teams landing split around Pink Split and that are trying to look for surge or trying to look for extra loot because it's impossible for anyone to fight at that spot either. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder, you were saying about their motivation, Boop. I was wondering if the fact they were so good last season and their own ego to make sure it was on con, did that ruin their motivation? It's like they had everything they've ever asked for. Janice, as you said, have been wanting an uncon spot for as long as we can remember, and he finally gets it, and it actually ends up being his downfall. Obviously, this season is a completely different Surge meta. So it can be a different way you have to play for Surge.
Yeah.
But I think last season, that might actually feel like really bad for them. The fact you're sat there, you've got your uncon spot, but your own ego to push everyone off has led it to the point where you actually end up completely dudding the whole FNCS.
I think you can mark it right down to the point when I killed him in OG Fortnite. I think that might have been the turning point of Genesis period. I think everything just tracks back to that, honestly. At this
I
point.
agree.
So,
I agree.
Yeah. I think we should move on.
Yeah. On to the next one. Cade and Diox. I'm gonna kick us off here. Guaranteed qual. No reason other than it's Cade and Diox.
They just do it. They just do it. Somehow they're there.
Like, I have no analysis for you. Cade and Diox will just qualify and they will just be in grands and they will just have one of the 12 games where like they win the game or have one pop-off game and everyone's like, what the fuck, Cade and Diox in this lobby? like it will just happen, guaranteed.
Yeah. I was gonna say, not their meta. Unfortunately, I think for them, if we look at last season, there is an alternative universe. They could have probably top 5 last grands. I actually think there's an alternative universe. They could have easily top 5 grands in that meta, where it's an aggressive Surge meta where you have to fight for Surge. And they had such a good start on day 1 as well. There is a universe we're in where they literally are top 5 going into day 2 or top, even in the contention for winning it. It was the perfect meta for them. And we have done a complete 180 to this meta where you sit in Surge bases, you tag with your AR, you tag with your DMR, you tag with your water bending, you rotate the zone, you tag with your DMR, and it's just not what they play. And if you look at Caden Darks' Twitter, they're not happy about the meta at all. They are complaining, saying it's the most boring season, the meta's boring. And I just look at it and I'm like, last season was their season. It was the perfect storm. You had fencing with 3 teams, a meta with caches still in the game, a meta that suited them with fighting, to this season where no caches, no nothing. You have to be so disciplined. Yeah. They might qual grands. I see a world where they go through lowers. Obviously, it's their format. Go through lowers, come top 25. It seems pretty easy for them. But when it comes to grands, I'm extremely worried.
Yeah.
I'd say my 3 words are going to be will win opens. Like I always doubt them every single season, and Diox comes in and says, "Mum's life, I'll come." Like, bet on it. Like he always comes, he like that. He's always comes in. He's like, "Boop, you never believe in us," and we just do it. And like, every single time they do it, they drop like a 40 bomb in like one of the games, and we're like, "Oh wow, look at them, look at and Diox, how they're so good." I think one of the things that might be interesting that I think they might be the type of team to do is to just run like double Hades or something. Like, maybe they just run through semifinals and run double Hades, smacking people's boxes. Like, I could see Diox sitting there somewhere in the northern part of the Netherlands with a smile on his face, smacking people in late game with the Hades change. Like it's perfect for them.
Yeah, Harry, you sort of mentioned like the need for discipline, right? In terms of like, there's less ways to bail yourself out in terms of like getting a loadout and getting loot this season. At the same time, it also has made it like the season for those sort of like coin flip fighters who just will just risk it all. And I think that in itself like gives them like a good chance to be all right and to find their way through lowers.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna say ignorance is bliss, because if you just start running at people and just go for it, you'll overwhelm a lot of teams and lowers that are like, what is this team doing? Why are they coming at me? Like, we're trying to make it to end game, and people start freaking out. And if they just go after people, they'll do well in lowers, but I see no hope in set lobbies.
Okay. This next one should be interesting. Snazy and Podesai. What do we predict for them?
Please leave fencing. Please leave fencing. They're just griefing themselves every tournament. It's so grief. They're not winning off spawn. To be fair, when they make it off spawn, they're doing well, but they need to leave. They just need to leave the spot. Vino takes on better than you. That's okay. Cade and Darks might also be better than you. That's okay as well. That's okay. Maybe even Dre and Darky also are better than you. Don't know. There's a few teams that could be better than you, but it's fine to leave. But if they stay there is no hope.
It's got to be M8 win. Like that's the only thing you can say in this situation. M8 win. And they're not doing a lot of winning lately, as Harry mentioned. The thing is that I think and I hope that someone in the back of their mind they know that, okay, we're going to leave this spot when it comes to the grand finals, but for now, we're playing lower brackets. We want to practice our spot because, we're playing lower brackets. We don't have the big boy FNtasia in lower brackets with us. We don't have the not medium boy Dre and Doiki in fencing with us, They're all upper brackets. The only team that they have to worry about, I think, is Leeson and Skyjump that also land that spot, and maybe one other team. So I think they're valid in staying at fencing just for lower brackets. But if they actually don't make it, if they make grand finals and they don't leave fencing fields, mate, that's all I have to say, mate.
You guys have got to be careful, man. You guys are talking crazy about the Frenchies right now, bro. I don't know, like the MA Ultras are going to be coming. I better not see Harry and Boop at land because the MA Ultras are coming for you.
Hold on. I've defended Anderlecht. I got 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2.
Be careful how you speak on the MA Ultras, bro.
Should I go 2 for 2?
Okay, what are you gonna say?
Nah, I think it's format RNG. Like their whole tournament is based on format RNG. If they make it out of lowers, it's because they don't get a bunch of people landing there and they're not absolutely scuffed off spawn. And if they don't make it out of lowers, it's probably because repeatedly all 5 teams that are landing fencing are winding up in the same game, just griefing one another.
No.
Okay. My 3 words.
Be careful.
Veno hate watch. Veno is gonna be loving, I'm sure those guys will put all their effort into winning like the first, game or second game of upper bracket.
Yeah.
And then Veno and Tayson are gonna hit the hate watch for all of semifinals. After every off spawn they have, they're gonna be tweeting something, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'd love to read you a passage of Veno's messages in my chat since yesterday's Solo Cash Cup, because we were watching Podosai trying to win a game in Solo Cash Cup yesterday, and this is basically what I said. How's the rivalry feeling, Veno? He said, "What rivalry?" Crying emoji. It's 46. And then we were watching Podosai, and he had his face cam on, and he said, "Look at this man's passion. He's wearing clicks glasses. When I was 14, I wore it, but I looked like a dumbass." And he's also wearing a gaming sleeve. The full gamer fit. What a gimp. There you go. That's what his words, not my words. So I think he's very much enjoying the rivalry and very much enjoying winning the rivalry as well.
So he said he has all the gear, no idea. That's what he said. That's like I remember you like growing up, right? You're playing football and that, and you got the brother that's got all the 6 shin pads and he's got like the wristbands and he's just like the shittest guy on the team. He's got every single piece of gear you need, but no idea in the world. All right, well, yeah, that should be an interesting one. Ali LeBlue though, MA Ultras, if you're listening, like I love you guys in it, so don't.
Great Rocket League team. I love those guys.
I mean, I ain't got a bad word to say. The time you've all been waiting for. Mongrel and Mr. Savage. In 3 words or less, I'm gonna kick us off here. BloodX carry job.
Oof.
If let me tell you something. If our brother BloodX does not show up on the weekend, it might get a bit rocky for Mr. Savage and Monga. Let's just say that.
I agree.
I'm gonna go good. Go ahead, Harry.
No, you go. Go on.
Good for the game. Good for Fortnite, I guess, is 3 words. Mm-hmm. Because if they're in grands, we all benefit. Everyone benefits from them making grands. And, hey, Levin, I know you got some sway. Make some zones, make some lobbies go their way. Let's figure it out.
If I could, I would rig it so they win every FN. I'm just letting you know that. If they happen to win FNCS, you would be right to assume I have found a way to rig it for them, because I would love that to happen. Like, I'd absolutely love that to happen.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go Forecast will carry. Their landing spot and the way it plays now, I actually think this spot is up there, top 5 landing spots on the map now, if not even higher. In the way the whole bottom left is working, their landing spot gets to forecast quicker than anyone else. They set it up quick. They set it up best than anyone else. So it kind of depends on how many forecasts they get. But if they get a lot of forecasts, well, we'll just see them in grands, because I don't see them coming outside the top 25. Even if they call through lower first, they'll be in lowers for the next one. And I just see them qualifying with that landing spot. I think it's too good for them not to.
Give Savage Adderall.
What? Yo,
That's it.
yo,
what? We need this man absolutely pumped full of the greatest drugs money can buy. This man needs to put on the big boy socks and shoes because oh my god, is it going to be a tough fight? Like realistically, last season, I mean, they had the path into grand finals wasn't an easy one. They made it to lower bracket number 3. It was difficult. There was a lot, we had a lucky zone potentially. Realistically, the odds were against them. This season, they've looked a lot better, but they still haven't looked like the team to do it so far. And a lot of that, obviously, we're hoping Savage is on his A game because, he's going to be the reason why they qualify this season. And BloodX also needs everything on top of that. A lot of stimulants may be required, but I think they have to make it. Like the storyline has to make it happen. So
I just want to say the views shared by Boop NL are of Boop NL and Boop NL only. FNtasia does not endorse kids doing drugs for the benefit of performance in Fortnite. But I hear what you're saying though, because like realistically, the scripts needs to be in their favor. I had almost forgotten how last semifinals went for them, where like the script was perfect. They qualified at the last possible opportunity. We had the whole restart thing that happened, and that shit was so good, bro.
As well.
That shit was so good, bro. Oh my days. Oh man.
I mean, BloodX says he already has it ready, so like I'm not the only one on the strain here.
But if you're associating yourself with BloodX, like I don't know if I want to be like, me and BloodX own this together. I don't know if that's the guy I want to be in it with. Okay. Next team. Shout out to Mongo and Savage, man. Hopefully they make it. I'm gonna let Harry kick this off. This next one. I'm gonna let Harry kick this. This is the last EU team, and then we're gonna get onto some of the NA ones. Queasy and Thomas. Harry, 3 words or less.
Won't make grounds.
Ooh.
So, all right.
Wow.
Jesus.
Sizzling hot take.
So I sat this morning. I was getting ready for the podcast. I was like, let me watch some of their games. Let me see if they've, we've had 3 weeks since FNCS. Maybe they fixed their issues. And I've loaded in 3 games, 3 different landing spots, struggling off spawn. And I'm just like, nothing's changed. Nothing within the 3 weeks is any different to it was 3 weeks ago. So my opinion on them hasn't changed. They play the same way. They're not winning games convincingly through height. They're struggling in 50-50 zones. They're the same. I'd hate to say it because I want to see Thomas win at Grands for once, but I don't think this one is his Grands. I just think not being the best at your own landing spot, unless they go back to Lavish left, which doesn't look like they're going to do, not being able to convincingly play the meta at this point, it doesn't fill me with a lot of hope, to be honest.
I want to let I have something I want to say, but I want to let someone else cook for us in case.
Mine's gonna be I don't know how to follow up that one. I'll be honest.
I want to respond to what Harry's. I want to respond to what Harry said. I'm convinced Harry gets like this dopamine rush from these hot takes. It's like he lets it fly. Like I know. Trust me. I think you believe what you're saying. I don't think you're like lying. Like I don't think you're just trying to be different to be different. I think you believe what you say. I just think you get like this crazy dopamine rush to where it's like it feels so good that you just want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do I agree with what you're saying? I mean, so I was watching your stream when you were watching some of their games, and so I understand why you know what you're saying is what you're saying, right? Like they don't look amazing. I just think this format's too easy for them to not qualify. Mm-hmm. Like genuinely, I just think this format's too easy for a team of their caliber to not qualify. But
well, no, that's where I was like maybe on the fence because the format feels like if I'm saying that, I'm like Queasy and Thomas surely are probably just going to get top 30. I don't think they'll win a game, but are they going to get top 25, top 15? It kind of depends on the landing spot situation. But do I think watching them they deserve to qualify? I don't know. Watching them play if they do, but yeah, I think this is it's a rough season for them. But hopefully, like, you know, I want them to do well. It's as I said, it's good for the game.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely, I do. Like I'm not a hater. I have no bias here. I'll watch them and I'll say what I see. And if I don't see them playing well, I'll say I don't see them playing well.
I'm gonna borrow a single word here for Harry, and mine's gonna be "don't go to LAN."
That's 4 words. That's 4. That's 4. So I had to make sure. I had to make sure.
Because you know, the gang of Balkan boys that are going to LAN, they will not be happy with Harry if they see him. It's on site. I'll be honest, like. I can see where you're coming from, and like, you know, sure, they haven't looked great, but it's Queasy Thomas HD. You know, they'll end up winning one game in upper bracket round 3 or something, even if they make it there, right? And then they'll just qualify. It's the format's too good. Whether or not they're a contender for an FNtasia winner this season, I think even Queasy would say he's not a contender based off his effort this season and the way he's talked about the season. Plus, there's a nicer addition to his job spot, which is a little timer that they added to Olympus. So either that means that he's going to get really good loots in like a week's time when that timer runs out, or the entire job spot blows up because Queasy's been tweeting too much about the Elite 5K that he's missing.
Knowing Queasy
Epic had enough.
Knowing Queasy, they're getting rid of the drop. Like, it's just going to be gone, you know? Just
that benefits him. That actually benefits him if they get rid of it.
Oh, my fuck. Harry keeps going at him. He won't stop.
Harry wants Queasy's drop deleted.
He wants his drop deleted. Did you not see what he said on Twitter? He said he wants it deleted.
So for the viewers who maybe don't know, Queasy was streaming yesterday, Solo Cash Cup, and during the break between finals, he actually reacted to the segment we did talking about him on the pod. And, you know, let's just say he wasn't too pleased with some of the things Coach Harry had to say about him. So I think at some point we're going to have to get Queasy on the show, and it's just going to have to be like the 1v1 between Harry and Queasy. I know for a fact, like, Booper, you're right in what you're saying in that, like, I think they know that this season's started.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact there's a part of Queasy now that just because of Harry and the slander, like, he wants.
I'll take 50%. I'll take 50%. What they make.
Yeah, whatever they make in grands, they actually need to give a percent to Harry for the motivation. Just because like, the kind of guy Queasy is as well, like, he just wants to prove people wrong, you know.
And a lot of these guys
are like, yeah, no. For
you
sure.
won't probably.
No, you won't get at it, but you'll get like sneak dissed, you know.
Yeah.
They'll be like, all you clueless people.
Some people didn't think I was gonna make it, you know.
This one's for the years.
This one's for all the coaches who said
all those ginger coaches now who are hating on me.
SVG, do you have anything? Do you have a
already checked out?
Take?
These guys are so checked out of this season, it seems like. And if they do qualify and they do perform well, it's purely because like they're both some of the best players ever. But it doesn't seem like this season is one that they even care about, or that's what they're just saying, right? They're like, oh, I don't really care that much, because then it like takes the pressure off you, because being one of the top teams consistently, you're always expected to do well, and maybe you're trying to alleviate some of that pressure. I don't know, but either way, it seems like Queasy, at least on Twitter, is like, oh, the season doesn't count. Like, I don't really care. Not putting effort in.
But remember, this is what I said that they need to do. And it's funny because on stream yesterday, he did say that is sort of what they're doing. It's like they have to just delude themselves into like this season being not their fault, and it's just a dud season, you know? Like, and that's the best course of action for them, because if they actually take a second to think about the season, really, you know, let it affect them, like, it would just be bad vibes. Like, you're going to global, you're playing with each other anyway, just accept that this season's a dud, move on, it's not your fault, you know, tell yourself at least it's not your fault regardless, whatever, and then move on, you know? Like, it's they'll be fine. The boys will be fine. I'm just still at that point where like this format is just too easy. And maybe these are like famous last words, but like the format is just too easy for them to not qual in my eyes. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't even think I need to get too much into it. They should just qual. Well, that's wrapping up some of the EU lower bracket teams. There's a couple NA ones that I wanted to touch on, a bit less than the EU, but still some interesting ones here. And we will start off with Aviv and Chubbs. 3 words or less. My one is going to be to kick us off here. Revenge tour needed. You know, Aviv, you know, after you know, Miro, you know, left Aviv to go play with Dukes. Aviv, you know, then actually got, you know, Quanti snaked, but he, you know, went and picked up Chubbs. I need these brothers on a revenge tour. You know, I need these brothers to show, hey, you know, like the brothers might have left us, but we're good. We're good at it. You know, that's what I need from Aviv and Chubbs.
I'm going top 15 grands. This team's just, they're good. They're a really good team. And even though it's coming together late, I still think that the two individual talents will rise above like any kind of small chemistry issues that may arise. And it's probably better for them to start in lower so they get more games to play together.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'll go with 2. Polska Gorham. So I need to say Paco and Mixon coming to NA to contest Aviv and Chubbs. Not as scary as Aviv and Miro now.
Yeah.
I think Grands, if I'm expecting Paco and Mixon to qual, and I'm expecting Aviv to Chubbs to qual, I think it's just going to be a messy one. I just like top 15 in Grands is possible. I could see it, you know, if they have good games when they are contested. But at a spot like that, if the spots around them are uncontested, it's just going to be a disaster.
North American Fortnite. I'd say like there's too many good teams in all the good teams in NA will just qualify. I just have no doubt about it. I'd probably say that for every single team we're probably going to talk about. So they're just all going to qualify. The top level of team are just so far above the rest that I think, you know, I don't see a world where Chubbs and Aviv don't make it through, you know, other than like maybe a random Windows update on the same day. I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree with that for sure. Next team, Bucky and Okis.
Turn on stream. On stream.
I was going to say for the content as well.
If the stream is on, they're qualing. If not, they don't qual.
That is just Bucky and Okis for the content. It's just, I can't see a world where they don't qual Grands and you have a Bucky stream and Grand finals. That's not a world. I don't see it where, like, again, live coached by Shoko as well to keep them in check, even if they do go a bit off the rails. Like, it's just, surely they're just making it.
I don't even know what my 3 words are. I just want to say something along the lines of what terrible sponsor do we get next?
I was thinking that one too.
Yeah, like
briefing for bets.
yeah. There's gonna be something probably. I don't know. There'll be something controversial that happens.
He'll get a good payday when he pulls Grands, betting on himself, and he'll make Grands.
You know. Yeah, maybe they like delay it to like day 3. You know, like they could just quote earlier, but they'll just like
the odds.
spoil it out. Yeah, get the odds better.
Yeah, my one would probably be same thing, like for the parlay, like Clut said in chat, like, like how many odds can we get going? Like I'm gonna get -5 kills, and the other guy, like there's so many things we could do. There's so many creative ways we can make money. I think they're only winning. You know, there's only winning in this case.
100%. Next duo we're gonna talk about from NA, the Dukes and Miro.
I want to copy one of yours and say under the radar. I want to copy it. I think no one's really talking about them. I think Dukes and Miro, the experience they have in finals lobbies, the caliber of players they are at the landing spot they're landing, I feel like they're set up for a really, really good season. With all the mess that has happened, I feel like they could really shock a lot of people, because I think most people who are looking at them, it's just like, well, I mean, with the entire region, it's not getting looked at because it's just Peter Pompeo. But, you know, no one's really looking at Dukes and Miro to really do anything. But I think they're just going under the radar.
Interesting. I've not really seen much NA discourse, so I don't know how like rated they are or not. But I definitely think they are a team that is just quite obviously really good, especially relative to the region. So I'd say in terms of like 3 words, I'd say they walk semis, you know, like they just get through easy. I don't think I think it's a walk in the park for them. I don't think they'll have too many problems.
My words are going to be bark than bite. I'd say the consensus, at least from what I've seen, is like many other top teams, like they seem to have sort of kind of given up on Twitter. You know, like I've seen the most. I think Barked and Bite, like someone has more Barked and Bite. They talk a lot more than they actually produce. And like a lot of Duke's tweets have been just like, oh yeah, but we can't do this, we can't do that. You know, it's already chalked up because Peterbot and Poyo are gonna win. So like mentally, it seems like that him at least has given up on the season. But we'll probably make a grand finals. They'll probably do okay, but I don't think they have any intention of winning or anywhere near thinking that they're going to be a top contending team so far.
Is Duke's not like one of the like? Isn't he like the NA Queasy though, where he's like always complaining? So like, is there much to read into his complaining or nah? Or maybe
No, I wouldn't put him on the Queasy level.
Well, not on the Queasy. Yeah, Queasy's like the goat.
Is this the fuck Queasy podcast? Like, what?
Yeah, you guys are just haters. Like, honestly, like you guys are just such haters.
Me personally, I like Queasy. He's great.
I'm a huge fan of Queasy. I wouldn't call him a hate. I wouldn't say he complains on Twitter ever. Actually, I think it's really positive to the timeline.
We ain't never getting Queasy on this podcast, bro. He's we have that bridges, but Queasy ain't never coming on this shit. Bro. It's done.
And the one dropped from Dig, like. Question mark? Did Dukes get dropped from Dignitas for all the stupid stuff he's been?
Yeah, I was gonna say because he wasn't like Bucky was getting all the heat for the promo stuff, but I swear like Dukes was also just doing all the same shit. Like
I know they weren't happy about it, and he still has that stuff up on his profile. So it's
it's actually gone. I just checked right now. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
He now has the Twitter affiliation with that wager website. You know, he's gone all in.
Wait, I'm literally on it right now. Did he like just delete it?
I literally see his Twitter. I can take a screenshot. I see his Twitter, and it says the grass is always greener. Business DM, and he has the wager website as his affiliation on Twitter. Pretty much.
Oh, you mean Dig's gone? Yeah. That's what made me ask the question. Because
okay.
I woke up this morning, and I was like, wait, is he not? He doesn't have Dig in his name. It's not in his bio. This is and no one said anything. So maybe this is like one of those like, all right, dude, you can tweet your wager stuff, but you're gone.
I mean, I'm happy 50 is standing on business. You know, like if he made the tweet that how does Bucky still have a platform? You know, like if you're making strong tweets like that, then you have to stand on your shit and do what's in your opinion right. And I don't hate anything about Dukes, but I think deserved. Like
stand on it.
Don't gamble fucking gambling to children. Don't promote gambling to children. It's not that hard. You can
gonna get all the drones that tell you, bro, get your money up, bro. Money's bro.
Wagering isn't gambling. If you just win, it's not gambling.
Yeah, definitely not. Don't look up the definition though.
Yeah,
it won't help.
Let's move on. Let's move on from that team. Owl and Ken Beans.
Owl is insane. Owl is actually cooking. He is cooking so he's actually really good this season. Like surprisingly good. Like I hadn't heard a lot about Owl, but from every time I watch them and Ken Beans play, he is doing the most. He is doing so much work. And for me, that's surprising because I've never seen Owl as that type of player to really just pop off. But watching him play with Ken Beans has just made me see him in a completely different light. Maybe it's the stability of playing with Ken Beans. Maybe it's playing for fun, no pressure of performance, whatever it is. It just looks like it's a different beast now.
So there was a time where Owl was like a great solo player, and then he got cancer. He was dealing with that. He recovered, and now it seems like he's coming back to the player that he was kind of building up to be, which is an awesome story. I absolutely love that. So he was like right there of like one of the next up at one point. So it's cool to see that he's back to that point, and zero ping real. I can't say is, but zero ping real. They moved to zero ping and they did okay last season. Now they're doing a lot better and they're abusing zero ping and know how to use it.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I think my 3 words would be already won FNCS for Ken Beans. And that brother is swimming in money. 1v1 speed realistics. That brother already won about 4 F. That brother won globals already. That brother ain't, you know what I'm saying? But that brother already won everything. So he's swimming in it. Shout out to Ken Beans, man.
I mean that was gonna be my 3 words: Ferrari or Rolls. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. You know, after this FNCS, you know, have you ever seen someone sad inside of a lovely red Ferrari 458 Italia? You know, I don't think I
Never.
could even cry in
Never.
one. You know, so regardless, I don't think it even matters to him. I guess we can always make the adjacent comparison to Jiven and Piggle last season. You know, will Owl get banned after this FNCS? I don't think so. So not going to be making it into grand finals is my pick then.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I'd say the last one we're gonna do then before we move on to some upper bracket talk.
Mm-hmm.
Last but definitely not the least, Asian Jeff and Oliver OG.
Well, they split, didn't they?
Did they split?
I thought they split.
They did. It's is it Oliver G and Larson, I think.
Yeah, so Oliver G has replaced Asian Jeff with Quanti. Quanti. Oh my! I named another Asian.
Yeah.
I mean Larson. Larson. I can say it. I have the pass. Hold on. I have the pass.
You're lucky. You're the one person that can get away with that. You know.
So Oliver is with Larson, and Asian Jeff is with a big man Diego plays now apparently. So,
okay.
So it's
I don't really care anymore. I don't even care anymore, bro. I wanted to just, I added them because I just wanted to make some jokes, but I'm just like, I don't even care. All right, man. Whatever. Let's talk about upper bracket though, because we've spent a lot of time talking about some lower bracket teams. But let's actually talk about, you know, the what most people are going to be watching. I'd say upper bracket, and the way we're going to talk about upper bracket, guys, to try and make it a bit more fun and a bit more interesting to talk about, is we're actually going to be playing a game that I think many of us have played in our lifetimes, which is Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Not in that format.
Though. No.
We're gonna use that format, but we're not gonna play it for actual, you know, what it is, because that would be weird. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna be discussing win, qual, crash out. I should have found a better moniker for that, but it's fine. Essentially, we will draw 3 random teams who are playing in upper bracket. We're going to pick one of those teams that we think are going to win a game and qualify through winning a game. We're going to pick one of those teams who we think will call through consistency via, you know, sort of day 3. And then we're going to pick one team of that 3 who we think will just crash out. And this should get interesting, because then obviously what happens if we draw 3 really good teams? Now we've got to pick one of them out of the 3 to crash out of FNTS. Even if we don't actually think they will crash out of FNTS, it will just still, you know, cause, you know, for some interesting conversation, which is the hope of this segment. And so we are going to start off with EU. Let me get the screenshot up because I got the website ready. I loaded in all the names of the random generator and all that. And this should be fun. This should be fun. I'm looking forward to this. You guys ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Born ready.
Okay, let's zoom this in a bit.
It's a shame there's no Queasy on this list for Harry to go in on again.
Yeah, he wouldn't make the finals, so he can't make it.
Okay.
Wow. Had to get one more in there, huh?
Okay. All right, let's start. The first draw. I wish I had some. I need to get a soundboard for the pod because we need some more sound effects. Ding, 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 ding. The first name. Ooh, okay. Brack and Blurfire. Okay. We're gonna remove them so that we have them, so we can see that their names here.
Yeah.
Cool. For the audio listeners, there's a spinning wheel happening, and we're picking.
See, this is why I needed the sound effects. That's the problem. All right, we're gonna spin again. What's the second team we're gonna get here? Okay. Ooh,
Okay.
Oh. So we get Fastrokey and Robban. Okay.
I'm
gonna remove them again. And then we're gonna spin one more time for that last team.
No shit team.
Well.
Ooh, okay.
Dexy and Eclipse. Okay, so guys, win, qual, fail. I don't know what the last one I'm calling it is. Dud, yeah, dud. We'll call it dud.
Yeah.
Win, qual, dud.
All right.
Blurfire, Brax, Fastrokey and Robban, Dexy and Eclipse.
Should we do one person does each 3, or are all going to go through each one?
I'd say one person.
Because I think
doesn't
we're
score.
probably all gonna have the same opinion, most likely.
on most of these, yeah. So I say we just I say
So first Harry, then you or me or whatever.
okay, yeah,
I
we
think
can
that's better.
do that. Yeah, we can do that.
All
we
right.
can do that.
This one isn't, I don't think, that contentious. I think Dud is Blurfire and Braxel. They're contesting Sanguild and Marius. I mean, you're just asking to come 50th if that's the case. Unless you're going to try and take right side and run. But even then, I don't think Marius and Sanguild are going to let that happen. Qual through win is a little bit hard. I think Dexy and Eclipse qual through win. Based on the situation, they contest off spawn, which obviously can be more of an issue, but they are game winners, you know. Well, we saw maybe they didn't win, but game 1, day 2 of Grands last season on Heights straight away, you saw I think Dexy made a tweet saying this is us day 2, and it's a picture of it was like a clip art or like a drawing of him and Eclipse on Height and on the rest of the lobby, and then game 1 they did the exact same thing. So I think they'll just win a game through they'll win off spawn, get good surge, and then be able to play through there. And then consistency, Fast Stroking and Roban, they've got a good spot uncontested. It feels like, they'll be making most end games, be fine with surge, and should be chilling, really.
Any disagreements there? I think that's pretty fair.
Wait, so who was the team you said we're going to crash out?
Blurfire and Braxel.
Blurfire and Braxel.
Yeah, I mean, depends on, crashing out, I think, is going to be an interesting one. They are the team that lands north. Actually, no, they're on Sango, right? Yeah. They land north on Duo Cash Cup, which already tells you about how confident they are in that setting to contest Marius and Sanguild, But, I mean, you're literally contesting the Thanos of Fortnite, In EU, at least. Marius, the big Marius, the best player in the game. So, he has no chance. So I agree.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I think this is fine. Everyone happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very
okay,
happy.
so we get rid. On to the next. Let's spin some more names. Let's spin some
Three
more
good teams.
Who's taking this one?
Go on, Boop. Take this one.
I'll take it. Okay.
All right, Boop, you take this one. Boop.
Oh, it's a Spanish team. Someone else take it.
Oh.
Spanish team, French team, Italian team.
Oh,
Get
no,
them
please
all
don't
in.
give me a
Load
French
this.
team. Please don't give me a French team.
Remember to help out our audio listeners here.
Yeah.
So
it's Lecoy and Clone, the Spanish boys.
Okay.
That have been selected.
On to the next spin. Let's see what the chat's saying. Let's see.
Clement and Sapphire. Come on.
Imagine.
Oh, these are these.
Almost.
Oh, thank you.
Another
Okay.
Spanish team.
So we have Pablo Wingu and Bevies selected. So it's
Okay.
basically me shitting on Mongo and Savage potentially.
And what the final team is going to be, we got.
Oh, not the Romanians.
Oh.
We have Huddy and Haijo selected. Oh my. So
Okay.
these are three of. I mean, there's one very clear winner here of the three teams. I'm going to put that onto Pablo Wingu and Bevies. I mean, the quality of that team is definitely higher than the rest of the two. Pablo and Bevies are definitely limited by being potentially contested at the draw spot, but not in upper bracket round number 1. So right now they have a free pass. When it comes to set lobbies, they have not been very consistent, but they have to be a team that probably ends up making it through to upper bracket number 3. But out of the three teams here, I mean, the other two don't look like they can win a game. So Pablo and Bevies will be my game winner. And then my team that is making it through on consistency would probably be Lecoy and Clone, because I love Spain.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'd say Huddy and Haijo, the team that was sort of mismangled and got together at the start of at the end of this, like close towards the FNCS. I'm not sure if they played both FNCS. I think they did, but obviously because they're in the upper bracket. But they seem a bit mismatched. Huddy is kind of all over the place, and I think the Spanish guys. It looks like a team that could just potentially make it through consistency. It's hard. They're both pretty much even, I'd say, but I put my baskets, my eggs into the Lecoy and Clone basket.
Okay. I don't know. I think I'm gonna disagree with you here, just from the perspective of I actually haven't watched much of Lecoy and Clone, like in terms of just watching individual games, but I feel like with Hutty and Hydro, Uncon Lavish, just to me feels like a better situation to be in than Lecoy and Clone, because they're landing all the way south East,
They're landing
right?
right of Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus is contested though, so they could be third party.
So it could be decent. I mean, to be fair, I'm not as high on Lavish Uncon either, just because like from what I've seen from it, to be fair, I've only really watched NA games of it, but it seems like it can be quite like difficult to get Surge from that spot if you don't really know what you're doing. And I'm not sure if Hydra and Hutty, will have a bit of problems there with it, but I don't know. I think I'd probably pick them to be the consistent EC team over Lecky and Clone, but I don't know what everyone else feels about that. Yeah, it definitely is between those two.
Yeah. But no, I don't think I think it's fair. I think the only worry I'd have with Hydra and Hati, as you said, is the whole Lavish thing. I don't know if it's that good of a spot this season. Like you watch it and you see how it plays, and you think about it last season, how Lavish played. You watch Clicks and Epic well, and you basically just grappled or crash pads on the teams for Surge because you had so many heals, because you had the Vault. You could just do that. This season, you don't really have that. You have to play, obviously.
You got to play for bunker.
Yeah, you got to play for bunker, but you're not even the quickest team to the bunker.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like fighting the bunker team, and they've already claimed it, and then it's like it's a bit shambles at times. At least from what I've seen when I've watched Clicks and Epic, like that spot Uncon can be a bit.
Yeah, it's a problem. But no, I would agree with your perspective, Boop, that I think you Lukoy and Clone and Watch Much Sun, but I actually think that spot's really good. I think with how Mount Olympus plays, I think that spot's really good.
I mean, it's also a spot that no one really wants to land on, right? Like they're going to be probably uncontested spot compared to Lavish Layer, where there's a few decent teams that are already in that spot landing there. It just whether or not they'll be there. I mean, realistically, they're probably both not as favorite, but again, every single team in this format, I mean, top 25 in upper bracket 3, like they should make it under the right circumstances. I find it so hard to get top 26 in like a finals lobby. Like my brain can't fathom it. Like I'm still on the idea that me and Resub could get like not bottom 50 in grand finals. Like how hard can it be realistically? Come on,
just don't die to Surge. Just deal damage.
Yeah, simple. All right, let's draw the next 3. I'll take this one. I'll take this one for the boys.
You're just gonna get the easiest one.
Hopefully. Sky and Scroll, who I believe are Uncon at Reckless.
The Uncon left side Reckless, yeah.
Okay. What's the third team gonna be? Second team, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Ooh.
Okay. Pings and Lusher. Okay. Is that third one? This could then
getting like battle of the mid vibes with all these teams I'm seeing. So like, why are
what
these
is
teams
upper
all
bracket, bro?
Yeah. Like who are these teams? I mean, I know them, but like, what is my EU, man? Like,
What happened to my region, man? All right, and then the third team is Swizzy and Vanyak, who do make it a bit easier for me. So I'm gonna try speed run through this a bit. Where are Pings and Lusher landing? I actually can't remember.
Cemetery by underneath Classy.
Okay. So the obvious winners for me are obviously Swizzy and Vanyak. Pop-off potential, these guys to win a game. I feel like Vanyak is just destined to win games in semi-final formats. Like that is just his thing. And obviously, they actually have been pretty decent at times this season. So I'd say they're going to win the game. In terms of consistency, I think Sky and Scroll will be making it to back-to-back grands. I think they will do all right from there. I think the big thing with them obviously will be like Surge out of Reckless. But I think if they are smart, actually,
Fauna plays on smart. We went through that last week.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah.
Because CZB and Nathan uncon Grand Glacier, Pink and Vico not getting conned at their split. Like, I think the fact that all those teams will be desperate for Surge makes me hope that there will be well, not necessarily hope, but like all those teams are going to need Surge. So logically, it's the typical Fortnite thing of we all got to help each other out here, which is why I'm guessing, I'm assuming they probably won't have too much struggles of Surge, even though in theory they should. And that's why I want to give it to them in terms of consistency. But Pings and Lasha, they're Condor spawn, or at least according to the map. I don't know if they're actually Like, if I don't know what their history is fighting those guys, because it's Misha and Lusha as well, or Lucia as well. So
It looks like on this map, the Misha and Lush are landing to the east of them, but I don't know which map is updated.
I don't know. I might not have the updated map, so that might be on me. But yeah, I think I'll give it to Sky. I'll give it to Sky and Scroll, and then Pings and Lusha out of those 3 crash out. Did you just send me the updated one?
Yeah, it's no. Yeah,
Perfect.
I would disagree. I'd say Sky and Scroll are names that I think people know more because they've kind of been around. It's the guy that places stuff with Scroll.
Oh wait, on this.
Yeah?
Oh wait, Twy and JK are going reckless.
Yeah, they're going right.
Yes,
side. That's what I
they're
said.
going right.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I'm sticking with what I'm saying. I'm sticking with that more than.
So you're saying that is that Sky and Scroll are not making it through?
No, they are making it through.
Oh, they are making it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're making it through. They're making
So
it through.
I'm gonna say that I think Sky and Scroll and Twine and Jakey might have the same idea as like Flixie and Giannis and be like, yeah, we're gonna own this spot a little bit. So I would disagree with that, and I'd say Pings and Lush have looked pretty consistent across this season. They got an 8th in the last dual Cash Cup. They seem pretty okay. Swizzy and Vanyak, go-to winners. Obviously, like those are guys that are contesting for top 5 FNtasia Grand Finals. And then Sky and Scroll, unfortunately, of the teams, I think these are 3 really good teams. I think I would put them least likely to make grands out of these 3 for sure.
I mean, on the topic of Sky and Scroll, speaking to or talking to people in the Danish scene, they're kind of like they're a really aggressive team. They rat around, they'll sneak around, they'll do all these type of plays. They're not the team to go sit there, as I said, be disciplined, sit in surge bases. So for me, it's one of the two. They're either going to win a game or they're going to completely dud it. I don't see them going through consistency. I just think the way they're going to play, or maybe if they go through consistency, it's not going to be consistent performances, It'll be like a 8-kill 4th or something like that. So in my eyes, I think on that topic, I'd probably go for Sky and Scroll to dud it and Pings and Lucia, just because they're more consistent. As you said, Boop just did insanely well in the Duo Cash Cup. I just think that they're actually looking really good, and I'm really high on Pings. I think he's a really talented player and has been for a while, since obviously last chapter as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, Sky and Scroll maybe dud it just based off trying to fight too much for Surge.
I think where I'd give Sky and Scroll the edge is that they just look better in qualifiers than Pings and Lusha did.
I agree.
I don't think those guys were overly impressive, and they sort of just scraped their way into upper bracket. So I think from that POV, I'd give them, if you're saying the Cash Cup performance was enough to sway it for you, then fair enough. But I think based on what we've seen in FNCS, I'd say Sky and Scroll have been better. But I think it's close between the 2. I hear what you're saying, especially of the aspect of not qualling, more so winning a game from them. But I'm not picking them to win a game over Suzy and Vanny.
No, of course not. No, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
All right, on to the next. Let's go. SBG. This is all you.
No.
See, if we keep doing a lot of these bottom half of you teams, I'm not going to be super helpful.
No.
Dre and Darky. You were dissing them earlier, Harry, weren't you?
I never said they were bad.
So this is a team that's conning fencing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice. We're making it easy.
Vino and Tayson on the next one.
Yeah.
Go on. Who's it gonna be?
That actually makes it tough if it's like Vino or Tayson or something like that.
Ooh.
That doesn't make it tough. Oh, definitely does not. No.
Vortex and Belusi are the third one. So Dre and Darky, I don't know a ton about, but I'm gonna say if you're in a set lobby against Vino and Tayson, they're gonna get the better of you most of the time. Vidil and Reason, I think, could win a game any given day. So I'm gonna say they're the game winner. We've seen them win a ton of games. And then where are Vortex and Belusi?
The train station, yeah.
Bottom right of Lavish Lair.
Yeah.
Bottom right. Okay.
The windmill split, I believe, yeah.
So they should be, I would imagine that they're fairly consistent. They're going to be close enough to get the skulls every game, or at least should rotate through the skulls to be able to have that play a little easier than all the teams in the bottom right corner. So I'll say Vidil, Reason are your game winners. Vortex, Belusi are your consistent teams, and Dre and Darky, I'm sorry, but it ain't happening, buds.
Didn't have to put it like that.
That was very American of you, It ain't happening, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice try, champ.
So I'm going to disagree with this. So the impression that I've gotten so far from what I've heard is Dre and Darky are apparently Italian Booga. Those guys are absolute phenoms when it comes to fighting teams. And they have shown so far, at least what we've seen in dual Cash Cups and in previous seasons, that fencing is one of those spots that probably is going to be split to some extent. Like Tayson and Veno's beef isn't with the Italians, you know? They're cool with the Italians. They have war with the French. And so they have a French team nearby of Skyjump and Lazen, you know? Like they're getting a little bit of taste. They've got a little taste of Le Bleu. So they're probably going to try to, you know, fight teams to the south, and probably not Dre and Darky, but Dre and Darky, at least from what we've seen, have been known to third party and fight in the entirety of fencing, but I doubtful that they're going to do that in an upper bracket format. Vortex and Belusi, the spot they landed on, is literally the spot where Orc and
no, they're landing to the right of that. I know where you can say Ark and Rickball came 50th from. No,
yeah,
right. It's where Marius landed because
right, yeah,
contested them last grants.
Close enough. Italian team landing somewhere nearby 50th place. Don't look good. Vortex hasn't looked good really, so I'm gonna put them as not making grands, and then Dre and Darky into making grands because I think they've been pretty damn good this season.
I hear what you say, Boop, but somehow every season Vortex does nothing, says nothing. We hear nothing about him, and he's just in the grand finals lobby. It doesn't matter what happens; he's just there, or he quals to the LAN, or whatever. It just happens. It's like we hear nothing about him. We forget Vortex even a player. And then he just pops up. It's like, oh, I'm in grand finals now.
There's like 6 variations of
that doesn't help him. Vortexers.
Yeah,
Vortexia, Vortex M from OCE. Like, there's just a million Vortexes, mate.
And then also Lucia and Lucia. Like, why is that now?
No, it's one Lucia. Come on, let's clear difference. One Lucia.
There's Lucia and shit Lucia.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you, Boop, about Dre and Darky. They are like insane fighters when you watch them play. Like, literally today, I'm watching them just in a fight. I'm not bringing it back to Queasy and Thomas, but I just saw them shit on Queasy and Thomas in a game. But but no,
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, no,
I was looking for it.
Yeah, but no, Dre and Darky are insanely good. My only worry is, like, if I'm thinking about it, is like I don't know how they'll do consistently off fencing. I would more likely agree with Levin. Just no analysis, no nothing. Vortex just makes grand finals. So is Belusi. It doesn't matter. We don't talk about them. People don't VOD view them. People don't go and watch them. They just make it, and it's just like, oh, they're there again. You know, they're the most like 20th to 30th team that's just always there every single grands.
They're like the grand finals version of a lobby filler. You know, not in a bad way, but it's just like they will just.
You're calling them.
Grands, you know.
One thing in their favor, though, for Dre and Darky, one thing in their favor is Vino and Tayson have a very good shot to win a game. So there could be less teams, and splitting fencing between 2 teams is way easier than 3. So like that will be split. So it'll be interesting to see. Like if Vino and Tayson win early, Dre and Darky could also qual.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I completely forgot about but like taking consideration about because that does make life a lot easier. Fencing is only 2 teams. They're probably going to just fight the other team, and I'd put them much more favored to win the fights than Skyjump and Laser.
Yeah, when you ain't got to worry about the third party, then it's not too bad. But that's why Dre and Darky are favored in the first place, because they are the third party usually in that fight. So
true.
All right, back to you, Harry. Let's spin. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I cut you off, but you can.
What we were spinning here. There's nothing more scary than the max passionate Italian team. Like, that's it.
True.
Give
it to him. No.
Giras and Cho.
Giras and Cho for the audio listeners. It was very, very close to being Harris and Skivvy, which would have been perfect for Harry because we know that's his favorite team in the entire world.
They are my favorite team to watch. They are.
Well, what's the second team going to be? We got Chino and O'Reilly. That's an interesting one.
Okay.
Depending on this third team, this could get really fun / difficult for you, Harry.
It's going to be interesting to see how Harry mentions Queasy in this one because
I'll add him in somehow.
Queasy's in the chat now too, watching. So.
Ooh.
Oh my
god!
You got a stacker.
So Cami and Stetti was the last team.
Okay. Cami and Seti, Noah and Chino, and Giras and Chari.
I don't know if this is as hard as it's meant. Like, these teams are all insanely good. Don't get me wrong. I think all of these would be capable of making grands, but obviously the game winner, especially with how they're playing this season, is Cami and Seti. They have a huge tendency Queasy coming in and saying, how am I talking about him every time? Hey, they're setting me up. They're setting me up. It's not me. They're setting me up. But no, Cami and Seti, with the way they're playing this season, their huge tendency towards height now, working with Blood X, the banana fizz onto height. I just feel like they're just going to win a game. I think that my only worry is if they're too reliant on that. But I think with the meta that's coming with the Surge meta, the way they're playing towards endgames, I feel like they're the favored game winners here. Now, this would be harder if Gyras and Cherry weren't contested. Now they're getting contested at a spot, which is probably just going to end up getting split. To be honest, if you're going to end up with Dandir and Snodscube just splitting the north side and just taking scuff loot and just trying to get top 25 every single time just to make it through. And when you have that happening, you haven't really got much hope of getting a good performance, right? You're just going to have pretty bad loot, which you're not really going to be able to do a lot with. So in my opinion, I'd go Chino and already with left side Snooty uncontested. I'd go them to qual through consistency. They're not the most consistent team when it comes to Surge, but they just have those pop-off games. When you have two fighters together, you're going to have those pop-off games. Yeah. And they can still fight towards Forecast until Mongrel and Savage are in this lobby. I don't know if Bevies and Pablo go for Forecast as much. So you're going to get No and Chino fighting for that Forecast most games with probably focus on Zangi or Volko and Vortexes. So they're going to have games where, the pop-off games where they have Forecast.
Yep.
So they'll just call through consistency that way. And then, Gyras and Chari are just going to be too scuffed off spawn. They're not going to have good loot. And they're just and also with the split next and being contested as well, you're just going to have 4 teams within a very small area. Fencing being triple conned as well. You have like 8. How many teams is it? It's 7 teams within such a small area. You're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think the safer team to pick there probably is Noah and Chino. I do have Gyras in that category with like Vortex and like Cade and Diox and all these brothers that they're just always going to be in Grand. So I do think this is one of the harder ones in terms of it's just harsh to say they're going to dud because I do still think they'll call through and make it. But obviously you got to make a decision. And I think your decision probably is probably makes sense. I think that's reasonable. Do you think it would be an overcook to say Noah and Chino win a game and Cammy and Seti qualify on consistency?
Any other season, I'd say yes. This season, the way Cammy and Seti are playing, no. Because, sorry. I mean, like
they will win a game.
Yeah. Because as I said, they are just hugely reliant or play towards the high ground. They do love playing height now this season with obviously the water bending as well. The famous clip we've seen now. Everyone's seen the resub video of Cammy doing a ridiculous amount of damage on height with the water bending. I just feel we're going to see very similar things when we're in grand finals or in these finals coming up.
I'd say every single season, Cammy and Seti would be the pick here. Come on. Cammy and Seti, they're game winners now.
They have been for a while.
They have been, They always do find a way. And they've innovated a little bit more this season than most to try to continue on that playstyle. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're winning one of the games. Probably, I'm going to make a prediction right now. Game number 3, upper bracket number 1.
Okay.
Come back to this when it happens. It probably doesn't happen, but it's pretty cool when it happens. And then Chino
Monday.
We'll be here Monday, and that'll be so cool when it happens, but probably won't happen. Then Chino and Noah, yes, I agree, will probably be one of the teams that make it to consistency. There is like chunks in the armor that aren't like they don't look as good as I think I've seen of Noah's previous duos and combinations. And for Gyras and Hari, they're just there. Gyras always has that potential to be like randomly top 10 in grand finals, and I don't know how, but out of the 3 teams here, you have to give them the least favorite. I do disagree that I don't think they're going to split that spot. I don't know how we're splitting that spot when we're landing on gas station to the north.
It's down there, mate. He's gonna. He'll split wherever he can split, Dandy. He'll just split it. He'll just take some to the north.
All right, so the hate list is Dandy.
I did the hate list. Oh god,
Harry cannot go to a LAN. It's over for him.
It's actually he's got too much beef.
Yeah,
he's got way too much beef. All right, let's start spinning again. This one's for Boop. Then who's it gonna be? I feel like we've gotten rid of some really good teams.
Give me
already.
3 hard ones.
I feel like it's gonna get. I wanted this
French
one.
Again.
I wanted these guys. Karama and Werex.
You can take it if you want to, depending on the next one. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. The second team is going to be
French Civil War.
Oh no!
Gosh. Oh
no!
I think Boop can have this one.
No. Oh gosh. Okay. And then who's the final team
as
going to be?
Bloodlex says in chat, who the fuck is that?
Oh, gosh.
It's Kira and Hedra, by the way.
Trip
Yeah.
and we forgot to say the name, yeah. And then
Trip
Trip and Fredoxy.
Yeah.
I actually am down to take this one if you don't want it.
Go ahead, take it.
Okay, can I take this one? Okay.
Yeah, take it.
So, when it comes to these three, I actually don't know much about Kira and Hedra. Like, I've not watched them much this season. I have weirdly watched quite a bit of Kurama. I don't know why, it just has happened where I have. And obviously Trip and Fredoxy, I'll probably take them to win a game. Funnily enough, I was thinking about them yesterday when I was thinking about the 3 words or less. I would have loved to have had them in the 3 word or less, just because I wanted to call Fredoxy like the actual Grim Reaper. You know, to a bit of play on words. You know me, I'm getting in my rapping bag.
Ghost Rider here.
I might be one of Drake's ghost writers, bro. You know, we know the way they like to play and try and get involved in the grim game action. And I think, you know, there will be just one of those games where they just happen to have the coin and then they just pop off and win the game. And, you know, Fredoxy has his big moment and Trip tells us why he's slept on and everything like this. You know, the whole spiel. Kurama and Werix, though, are also a team. For people who don't know much about them, they are Frenchies. Kurama's controller. They are like, they can be quite like pop-offy. So like, I don't think they're amazing. Like, I don't think they're like one of the best teams in the region by any means. I don't think they're like super slept on and, you know, there's got to be a team that you got to have on your radar. But they're like, they do have that potential to just go absolutely ballistic in like an end game and just frag out. And so, you know, let's say Noah and Chino do go through, because obviously they're conning them at Snooty. Like, I don't know what the situation is for them in terms of like being able to consistently get to forecast and play for that. I don't think they do too often, but I think if the right things go their way and they have a couple decent games, I could see a world where they qual on consistency. Just because of, they just have like some okay pop-off potential relative to the lobby. Frenchie controller player who actually is like, can fight, like you're asking for a pop-off there, really. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of where I'm at with them. And that would leave Kira and Hedra out of the picture for me. But
I was gonna say, I've also, because I think Kurama and Werix had a really good run in FNCS. They won the round 3s, and then in that same week came 5th in round 4. Then the week after come 50th in round 4. They actually did insanely well for their, you know, from what everyone expects of them. I agree with everything you say. They're kind of a pop-off team. They do have a decent amount of discipline. That they, as you said, they rarely go for forecast. They kind of just rotate past, get the surge on third-party forecast, and then just rotate through. They take deep positions. They just play, like, surprisingly for a controller team, they play pretty clean games in the mid-game. It doesn't feel like there's random fights they're taking. It doesn't feel like they're just W keying for the sake of it. It feels like
they're good
as well
to take those random fights. Like when I see them in fights, like they look as good as, you know, you'd want any team to be. So
exactly, yeah. And I just I agree. I think with your selection, I totally agree. Also, we have Kura and Hedra. They're contested Mount
Olympus. It's just not great, really.
It's not good. It's not a fun time at all. So at the end of the day, I agree. I think Werix and Kurama. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit slept on, like a little bit. I think for people, like as Black said, who even are they? They're a decent team. Do I expect them to do anything in the grand finals? Probably not. But could I see them qualifying grand finals? Of course, absolutely. I think they're definitely one of the more underrated teams this season.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Kuro and Hedra being conned by a certain Spanish team. I mean, you mentioned it slightly, but that team may have a history with one of your favorite players, Harry. But that's all I'm saying.
I'm just getting set up here. I'm just not even going to say it. I'm just getting set up here.
I mean, we'll wait until we get to that. I actually disagree with the fact that Trip and Ferox are going to win a game. I think it seems like out of the 3 teams here, they seem like the most capable team of winning the game. But I think just off of the way that they play and how inconsistent they are, like they're the best shit team, you know, Feroxy and Trippin. That's I think my best way to describe the way that they play the game. You know, they're the best dog shit team, but actually do really well. Like they do great. You know, they have interesting strategies and they make it interesting. So I'm going to put them as consistency, and then I'm actually going to put Kurama as a game winner because I think they won one eval game. I'm just banking off one eval game that they won.
They did win one eval game, yes. But so that eval game, they shouldn't have won. It like Moneymaker and F9 definitely. It was the one where Moneymaker and F9 won back-to-back games. And Moneymaker could have won that 3rd game, but like they choked the ending and they let them get heal off for free. But yeah, they did win a game.
Yeah,
and then that game, they popped off.
Yeah, there you go. So and then Q and Hedra are who? Yeah, I mean they're okay. You know, like the Olympus, they'll be calling it every step of the way in Mount Olympus, and Scary and Sires are literally Booga from history, from what I've seen. So
Yeah. All right. Everyone happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally know a bunch about those two
All
other teams.
we'll give you the Booga soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
This one's mine.
Let's
No?
see. This is yours. Yeah, this is yours. So we got Kiri
Kiri and Gripey. Yeah.
Okay. Next team for Boop.
I like how the
See
E is
what
just
they're gonna
randomly bolded there for some reason.
Yeah. Twy and Jakey. Ooh, maybe. Ooh. Yeah, okay, yeah. Twy and Jakey landing at Reckless. And who's the last team for Boop gonna be? Big up to everyone that's watching the show live as well. Appreciate you guys all for hanging out.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Strapped
and Skrill. I mean, I hate to repeat myself, but again, battle of the mid here. Strapped and Skrill, yeah. I mean, Twy and Jakey over at Reckless Railways, like there's experience there, and Jakey's one of those guys that I'm actually so surprised that he's still playing the game, because that guy's been playing the game for like years, and he's like
one of the most OG players in the scene.
Yeah. And like I remember him from back in the day. I think I got him reported in Atlantis Scrim and got him banned for griefing me. Like that guy's been here for ages, and he's just always just sort of coasted along and just done decently well. Kiri and Gripey, probably the best team in terms of name value at this point, and also one of the teams that, I mean, they're landing at a spot that's mediocre, and it's something that Pink and Vico are going to be looking at, because they're probably going to try to milk Pink and Vico for Surge. But when it comes to a game-winning team, I'm also not too sure on them. And then Strapped and Skrill are also landing at a spot which is up against Fire Hunter and Velry. That's very mediocre. I think iDrop and Nebs have tried to make this spot work, and iDrop always complains about the loot that he gets in the spot as well. So yeah, very much battle of the mid. If I had to force a gun to my head, I'd say Kari and Grapey are going to be the teams that are going to win the game here. And then the team that goes through consistency is going to be Twy and Jakey.
I think you had the hardest one so far.
Yeah. I was going to say this is the hardest.
If I was you, I would have waved the white flag, bro. I don't even know why.
I mean, realistically, if I had to say this fully, I think none of them make grants. But yeah.
Ooh, you reckon?
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think that.
I don't know if I can jump on that one.
Because I think Kyrie and Gripey are looking pretty good this season from what I'm watching. It feels like their end games are looking pretty clean. The biggest worry I have for them is Surge from that spot. You know, it's a spot which it feels like you actually have to just pad to mid-map to get Surge. If I remember watching Blatcher right at the start of the season land there, he'd land there, loot it, and then pad all the way to restore Brills by second zone and be based up next to Trulex. Now, when it comes to these three teams, I agree with you. I don't see any of them winning a game. Like, I don't think any of these are real. I mean, Twy and Jakey a little bit, but in the open rounds, they were landing just outside Grim Gate and keying into it. So they're in a completely different area, nowhere near where they're used to when they're winning games in opens and round fours. I just don't really see any of these teams winning. But as you said, Boop, I agree kind of with your selection. I think Kyra and Gripey are the only team who really could win a game here.
Jakey's 22. God damn.
Yeah. Same age as me.
God damn.
Why aren't you in a bracket?
What a youngin'.
Make more money casting.
Wait, all right, hold on.
I mean, I didn't want to.
Jakey poor, huh?
I didn't want to flex, guys. I didn't want to have to flex, guys. But I mean, you asked the question. I'm just gonna tell the truth.
So you're saying you would have made upper bracket if it was paying more?
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's only $1,000 when you come last, right?
True. True.
$1,000 is nothing. Let's be honest.
No money.
Sandfield and Marius.
You actually are gifted. Let's go. Gifted here. And you get Sungild and Marius. Nice. Perfect.
He's a challenge. Don't mention Peterbot when you talk about Marius here.
Impossible edition.
Yeah.
The EU Peterbot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't look at me.
Sugar Sean O'Malley and Scary Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's that third team going to be?
This one.
This one didn't end up how I thought it was going to go for you, but it's fine.
Right, so Fant and Splash are the last one.
Yeah. Those guys are landing
to the right of Rebel Truce, the vault there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, that's not a good spot.
No.
All right, they're scrapping for loot. So I'm gonna say that just because I don't know much about them, just kind of like looking at the drop spot. I'm purely talking out my ass right now. Looking at the drop spot, Rebels is con, so maybe they're gonna be able to walk over there and clean that up every once in a while and get like one good game out of the uppers and win a game. So I'm gonna say Fant and Splash somehow win a game. Sanguild and Marius, I think we all know it's definitely not Peterbot because I'm not allowed to say that. No, I mean I think those two are by far the best team on this list, and just by chance, because I'm going to say it's easier for me to say they're going to be consistent rather than say they win and then guess which one of these two teams is going to be consistent. They'll be the consistent team that goes on through the qual. And then I guess you guys have been talking about this team, the Spanish team. So time to throw some shade. They'll be dudding out of their drop spot. I think you guys have talked enough about, and last time I was on here, how Mount Olympus is just kind of disgusting. And it looks like they're kind of playing that same, like, are we in Mount Olympus? Are we going to take our loot and run away? We're going to try and like fight this. And I just think it's going to be a massive problem for anyone that lands there, regardless of who it is. I don't think Mount Olympus is a good drop spot as far as loot goes. Positionally on the map, unless zones pull your way, you run into a lot of problems on rotates, and I think that's where we're at.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
So
I think it would be easy if you could claim that pad on the mountain, but you just almost can't most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say unfortunately my goat Marius is completely washed because he didn't make solo cash cup finals yesterday. So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to emotionally recover from the situation because I've lost every single argument in the EU versus NA narrative. Sayas and Sean, you know, they're I mean we just the only reason we know them is because they won against Queasy and Thomas HD in a duo cash cup. And then Fant and Splash. Splash is an OG. He's been here for a long time, and they've been mid, kind of okay. Honestly, you could coin flip those two. I think I would agree with SBJ. G.
Yeah. The only thing I want to say is, like, obviously, I think Fant God and Splash's spot in theory is really good, and I think it really benefits them having Rebels con because you want to have like that. It's just not enough loot. If you can't gain a little bit extra from Rebels, you don't actually have that much loot, and Surge struggles from there. So them Rebels being contested, depending how quick they play, can really benefit them. I think Sanguild and Marius being contested off spawn is a dream come true for them. Like contested off spawn, insta fight. No, there will be teams third partying, but no one will really look to. If you see Sanguild and Marius winning the off spawn, all the teams third partying are running away as soon as they see that happen. And obviously, Siaz and Scary, they're the boogers are disengaging. They don't dive spawn. They don't let anyone kill them, but they don't kill anyone. They just don't dive spawn. So I don't actually think they're really going to fight much off spawn. It feels like it's just going to be split.
It's gonna run.
Yeah, it's just going to be a split. They're both going to get like 15 chests with some god chests, which to be honest isn't the worst loot. If they actually, we're not saying they are going to agree, but let's say they did split equally and fairly every single game, the loot wouldn't be the worst in the world. They'd be able to
that's fine.
You'd get good enough loot. But yeah, it feels like they never dare spawn in Mount Olympus, but more so because they just disengage or swerve to the other side and just don't want to fight. It's rarely because they're killing everyone, shitting on every team. It's more down to them just playing not to die off spawn.
I gotta be honest, is EU shit, guys?
Yeah, what's happened to my region? What's happened to the region?
It comes to a point where when I struggle to like say stuff about certain teams, like, you know, I know a lot of these guys in the EU, but like, man, I just don't know what to say about some of these teams. Like, holy shit, like, who are they?
I think part of the problem, which is what I was saying before we went live, because yesterday, just to test the system, I was like going through and like spinning some of the teams, and I was like, this might not be as hard as I thought, just because there's a lot of like stinker teams, unfortunately.
This happened last uppers as well, with the exact same thing.
But part of the problem is, I think the nature of the format has meant that a lot of these teams we've just not seen all season. Like the truth, like there's a lot of these teams, like unless you are like locked into no ball scrims, you know, plug. you just would have just not seen a lot of these guys really if you just like only watch FNCS, which is obviously what we're talking about. We're talking about FNCS, but a lot of these guys you just probably wouldn't have seen them just because of the way the format is, and now they're just here in upper bracket. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess. But yeah, on to the next.
Just a steady decline, right? Like there's 4 duo cash cups. We've got some eval cups. There's not much time for these guys to shine at all.
Yeah. Harry, back to you. So we got Stan and Kovacs.
All right. Yeah,
Back right to it. You know, we're right there to it again. You know? Give us another mid team. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
You said it. You said it. You said it.
This is the greatest team out of our generation.
You don't want to start beef with the Spaniards, bro.
Just what has happened? Like, where's the money makers and mongrels of the world? Like,
okay,
why
do you mention money maker?
Bro, this has to get popular on TikTok, bro.
Right. Ziandi and Turtle. Right.
Yeah,
I like
this is
what
a fun
first. Yeah, this is a stacker. This one. So I mean, you're looking at Kovacs contested at Rebels. You've got Nako contested at Rig, and then obviously Ziandi and Turtle contested at Grimgate. I mean, I think it's an obvious answer who's winning a game here. They need 1 out of 5 or 10 games to win one or to get Grimgate bot, and that's all that really matters, right? So Ziandi and Turtle are just going to win a game.
Like, and they won a couple games in quals.
Exactly. Like they are just a team who, I mean, it's the nature of the landing spot. The only downside they might have is kind of similar to what happens on NA, where when Peterbot wins, everyone's scared. It's going to be the same when Malibu. I feel like if Malibu and Murstache wins, everyone's probably going to disengage. But if Ziandi and Turtle win, I feel like you're going to have Redoxy. You might even have Robin and Julian just above them, who are a Grimgate team usually going to contest them, but they'll get one game. They'll get one game where they win. Now, the other 2 teams, this one's a little bit harder because Kovacs and Stan are a team who, like, they did decent last FNCS. They got to low bracket. They were in low bracket finals again. So they've been around and they got close again, but contesting Rebels against a team who's landed there for 2 seasons, who are notoriously a really good off-spawn team, I just don't feel like they're going to win many games. And Nako and Kire, who are contesting Rig, again, it's the same. It's a similar thing where even if you win off spawn here, first of all, you're probably getting third party by Video and Reason, but most of the time, you're probably just going to have the worst loot. You're just going to
nobody wins.
Nobody wins. You don't win out of this situation. It's just such a scuffed situation. So, by the nature of that, I'm going to say Kovacs and Stan just because of the fact they probably will have slightly better gains from Rebels, in my opinion, than Nako and Kiri will have from Rig. Just about. It's very close.
If you're landing windmills, you've already given up. You know, like life. You're at a dark point in your life, and you just don't like anything anymore. Ziandi and Turtle are definitely going to be the game winners in this one. Yeah. Even I mean, they've even been showing off glimpses of them potentially beating Malibu and Murstache to a decent degree of spawn, which is what is going to happen potentially. Because Malibu and Murstache don't obviously look as established either. The only reference I have for Stan is because I watched his stream during ESL, and the only thing that man could say was he was mesmerized by how good Thomas HG's team was and how good their aim was in ESL. So like he's a little bit shooketh from the aura. Luckily for them though, Dexy and Eclipse don't have aura, so they might actually do decent over at Rebels Roost. I mean, this one's easy. Yeah, Naku's not making it if he lands windmills. There's no chance.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Not much more to add.
Thank you for giving me that
the
one.
Next. It's unlucky, man. Honestly, just unlucky with the spins. There's still some decent names on here, though. So hopefully these start to get a bit more interesting now.
Well, it'll make it harder now, right? Because all the good teams are still left here.
Exactly. It'll make it harder.
Here we go.
There's a decent team.
Here we go. Venno and Tayson's the first team pulled up. Who's going to be next? I hope it's just the craziest stat. I hope you have to say Venno and Tayson get added. Okay.
Saved, maybe?
Yeah, okay. Pixel and Pix are the next team that are there. And then for the final team, you get...
It's got 420 in the name.
There's a Fire Hunter.
Yeah.
So Fire Hunter, Valerie, Pixel and Pix and Tayson and Venno. Oh my. I mean, let's start with the other two, and then we'll go on to the last one. So Pixel and Pix. I mean, Mansion split towards the south side of the map. Fire Hunter to the south side of the map against Skrill and Strapped. You know, not really battles we're looking at all in the situation. Realistically, it's Venno and Tayson qualified. I don't think that's the crazy assumptions here. I'm gonna pick my boy 420 because it's a cool name, and I think that's the only analysis I can give in this point. That's it.
I mean, Fire Hunter is like a consistent feature of grand finals. To be fair, like he always does seem to qual. So it's I love how his name's evolved. It was like Fire Hunter, then it was Fire Bro, now it's just Bro. He's just like the fire's just gone completely. Maybe that's reflective of where he's at in his career now. The fire's gone. It's not there no more. Yeah, it's just he's lost that spark. I mean,
EU's lost its spark looking at this. Like, it is.
The thing is, okay, here's the analysis. Okay, Pixel and Pix are landing mansion, but Tayson and Venno can buy a mansion. That's the difference between the two. That's the difference between the two.
This is a crazy glaze.
It's crazy.
This is a crazy pocket watch.
I don't know what it's meant to mean analysis wise, but there are two different stages of their career. All of these guys.
Yeah, well said.
Well, very well said. Very well said. This is why we love Boot, right? This is
the EU analysis come down to pocket watching. Who can buy a man?
Who's got more money?
Oh my god, Jesus!
Where's the UEFN map creators?
Wait, back in the day, that was purely a thing. Like you didn't land on someone that made more money than you. Granted, that's not what we're talking about.
That's on EU. Like there's all it takes is a $200 earned player with enough confidence for Noble, and you can give them the whole world,
Literally. All right, my first team, Mappy and Kiro. Not bad. Who do I get next? Ooh.
Oh, here you
go. Wow. Misha and Lasha, okay.
That face describes this whole thing today.
yeah. I was hoping we could get a bit more interesting. Look, the wheel did spin back to Trulex, but we didn't get them.
Are we doing this for NA as well, or just EU?
I mean, I wanted to do it for NA, but now I'm thinking maybe we gotta change our minds a bit.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I want to do this for you. Okay. And my last team, I'm just getting done here. Like what? Like these last couple spins are gonna be nuts because what? Okay, Skyjump and Lazen. Okay. So, okay. Game winner. I'm gonna go with Mappy and Kiro. I mean, they both sort of got together, in weird sort of circumstances, obviously with the whole, cheating, not wanting to play Kiddo not wanting to play with Kiro no more, and then Mappy. It's funny because both these players, I think, have been accused by their teammates in the past of not grinding the game enough. Obviously, iDrop had the whole thing with Mappy, right? And I know part of why Kiddo didn't want to play with Kiro anymore was because he felt he wasn't grinding enough. But then since they've got together, their results I think have been pretty decent. They've looked decent in a lot of the cups they've played in. They've got pop-off potential there. So I'd say they win a game. Skyjump and Lazen, Con by Venno and Tayson. I actually at first wanted to say that they just won't, I wanted to give them the dud because they're cons, but I just think Venno and Tayson will just win a game. So they'll be chilling for most of the tournament. So now I'm actually not sure, actually. But nah, Misha and Lasha will call on consistency, and then Skyjump and Lazen, that I say is where I'd go with it.
I mean, Misha and Lasha contesting the spot top right of Reckless, the spot of the house with the helipad. There is 13 chests.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
think they just win and you play for bunker and they're probably fine, no?
Maybe.
I don't know. Consistency, I think they're all right.
I mean, Lazen, I think Lazen and Skyjump should do fine. If you think about last grands, they Lazen, I think it was Lazen and Locks, who landed on left side, who was third partying a lot of Mr. Savage's off spawn fights. So I think if Skyjump and Lazen play in a very similar way, where they're just taking left sides and literally just scrap looting fencing with the mid map meta we're in, where DMRs are just it's literally all that matters. I think they could easily call through consistency. I just don't know. I think if I'm Pings and Lucia and I'm seeing Misha and Lucia contest at that spot that with the helipad, I'm just like, I mean, it's free surge every game. They're going to be fighting off spawn. They're going to end up with nothing. They're getting cleaned up every game, surely.
To be fair, I think maybe I'm not giving Skyjump and Liz enough credit because I think they did actually do well in qual in quals as well.
I was gonna say Midsha and worse Lucia here. You know, like Skyjump and Lazen. I think over at fencing you have more chances for things to happen and things to play with. Misha, Lucia at this point with the team to the north of Video and Reason, I think they're more likely to make things happen towards the south side and third party stuff than looking towards windmills, as Harry said. So I think Alicia and Lucia might actually be more in trouble in this case. And I don't think I've seen many teams do well from that spot. So I'm putting my money more on Skyjump and Lazen to actively win on consistency here, because I think at some point the teams in fencing will just be qualified already, aka Venom and Tayson. And then, you know, maybe they'll have Snazy and Porosai coming in, but then Dre and Darky will fight them, which will open up more opportunities for Skyjump and Lazen to do stuff. You know, they're likely, I think, to do better. And then Mappy and Kiro obviously are the winners of the Kaiduro and Kiro split, which actually I'm more surprised that they're doing better than
they weren't supposed to
Kiddo
be the
and
winners
Cheetah.
of that. Yeah, like they weren't. If you had asked people before, people would have said, yeah, Kiddo and Cheating are better off, but it's looked like Mappy and Kiro have been better off so far. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But no, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think with the likelihood that Venno and Tayson get the hell out of there quickly and they can just play things out, like I think they should call on consistency. I think that's fair.
No.
On to the next. We're
I was looking at this. I was looking at this wheel. There is not a lot good left.
It's actually not. Yeah, it's not.
We
It's
just
not
like
as
haven't
good
had
as
this
any
well.
one. We could start NA with me if you want.
We just keep on taking out like one random good team, so it makes it weak and weak over time.
Yeah.
Harley and the Frizzy. It's the first team we draw here.
So that's a
Who's
no
moving
to
next?
move it on.
Yeah.
We'll go with. Oh God.
My region. What has happened to EU? What this team?
Trash and Zohan get drawn.
it might also be a good thing. You know, we got new up and coming talent being developed. Maybe, you know,
Clement and Saf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saf is up and coming talent. But...
Sophia, he looks pretty good to be fair, but
I got nothing for you guys. Like, straight up, no like legitimate analysis. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what's going on here. If you guys want to do it, go for it.
Let's just say Howley and Clement are contesting each other. They're just probably going to dud each other, and then Trash and Zohan are landing on like 5 chests outside of Underworld. So
I mean, his name is fucking Trash, man. Put him in the fucking garbage.
clear the
He's
list.
flawless.
Go again.
Yeah.
Clear the list.
But, I mean, it's gonna be Clement and Saf. I think they've actually looked pretty okay. Saf is various cheating accusations as well, you know, which is always great when it comes to finding a duo potentially. And Holly and the Fizzy are one of those teams that are actually, you know, not too bad, you know, also various cheating accusations as well. So, you know what? I'm going to do Team Cheater here and do Howley and the Fizzy and Clement and Saf with Howley and the Fizzy winning the game. Bosh.
nice. On to the next. Speedrunning the shit.
Speedrun it. Yeah, speedrun
Okay,
it.
let's get through it
Give me
quick.
some good teams, please.
Okay, so you're going to get Sankey.
Legitimately, who the hell is that? I actually don't know who
These
this is.
guys land north. They're landing north where
contested on
Kiriachi
island.
is. Are they contested on island?
They're
Where are
contested
they
island.
landing? Oh, no.
They're contested
Jesus.
North Islands.
Okay.
Oh, change
What a
the format,
place to be
Epic,
contested.
please.
Apparently, Safi got banned, people saying. Interesting.
El Tenzi and Panzer, who are.
I've got contested island, contested rig. Let's finish off with Demas and Sterren contested at the helipad spot. Let's just finish it off.
Imagine.
Oh, that's a team you like.
Nathan and
Alright,
CZB. That's a good team. You got an alright team there.
All right, we'll just speedrun it. CZB and Nathan winning. I mean, it's just the best team by far, right? It is just, you know, they are just the only team here uncontested at a spot where they're going to get consistent good loot, which they can actually win games from. Sam, and both of these, can I put both these teams in dud? Like at this point, it's like you're contesting islands, which you're asking to not qualify, and then you're also contesting rig, which is you're also asking not to qualify. So I don't really know what either team expects. It's that weird conversation. I think maybe KXR started it or someone started where it's like, if you're a bad team, why contest like the worst spot ever? Because even if you win off spawn, you're just getting cleaned up straight away. I know you shouldn't contest good teams and like, but contesting literal like 17 chests on a split on split drops, you're asking to not even make it close to grand finals. It's weird to me. But yeah, I think just put both of them in dud and let's move on to the next
shit,
one.
bro. Let's just move on to the next, broski.
Are we the farmers region? Are we the region?
We might be.
Yeah.
We might be. Mustache and Malabuka. Okay. Who's going to be next? Maybe we finally got a decent one here.
Okay.
All right. Now we get interesting here. Trulex and Chicho. Okay.
But who's doing this one?
I thought it was going to be Boot, but
I think it's me, yeah. Make it easy. Hey.
That was close.
That was almost a stacker.
It was almost there. It was almost there.
It was almost going to be the content right there. That's our YouTube video gone down the drain.
We could have the hot take here potentially about talk about how Mercedes and Malibuca haven't lived up to expectations. You know, Trulix and Chicha have looked decent and are living up to expectation, but they're not a team they're the team that just guaranteed. If you look at the final moving zone, they're there existing. Not guaranteed to win because of the play style of, you know, if we have 3 med kits going to final moving zone, we're going to play 3 med kits and then get top 3 in that game. You know, that's the way they play the game. Vortex and cool. Vortex has. This guy is literally on levels of Mr. Savage and Mongo in terms of fame. You know, it's the number one ass person I've seen talked about when it comes to what do you think about Vortex, or how do you think about Zangi? You know, Focus, like those guys are
talks. It's talks.
Or is the Andy? Like these guys have the loudest fan bases. Realistically, they should be playing in silence because they're landing in one of the worst spots I've ever seen in my life on the bottom right side of the map. The team that is winning a game is Mercedes Malibuca, Trulix and Chicho making through consistency, and Vortex and Cool or the Fool. Boom.
Ooh, bars. I like that. I like that.
I won't get into a diss track with you, Boot.
I like how it just went straight away.
Let's go. Vico and Pink finally get their call up. Okay. Vico and Pink. Who's going to be next? Who do you draw next?
Just make it a stacker so the last one's as shit as possible.
We'll give it Haris. Yes.
Okay, Haris and Sweet. And who's going to be last? Imagine.
Oh,
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay. Okay. Where are we going with this one then? I mean, my dud is going to be Zangi and Focus, unfortunately, so we'll get that out of the way. Haris and Skivvy versus Vico and Pink. Who wins a game versus who's on consistency? Oh my goodness. Okay.
This is the closest one. I think this is the closest one we've had.
This is a hard one for me because the way Vico and Pink have been playing this season, they've not really been height focused at all, right? Like they won that first core one. I don't think they even looked at height once the whole time. Haris and Skivvy have been the team that has impressed me the most, I think, of any team this season.
On the hype train.
Definitely on the hype train, and they do play for height, like when it's available. Like they are a team that is going to be up there and playing for height a bit more than Vico and Pink are. And so for that reason, I think they're probably more likely to win a game. But Vico and Pink, like, I can see both of these teams winning a game. But I think if I had to pick one that is more nailed on to win a game, I'd say Haris and Skivvy. And then Vico and Pink call on consistency, and then Focus and Zangi dud.
So why do you hate Pink?
Yeah, come on. Why do you hate Pink?
Really, it's because he owes me, like, for food. I bought him lunch. He said he would pay me back. He didn't pay me back. So that's really where the beef is.
Money's tight, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard enough about me talk about Haris and Skivvy. Like, I obviously, I think they're one of the best teams this season. I think the way, like, we're talking about it loads about how this format is not showing a lot of the top teams performing really well. Haris and Skivvy have been one of the best teams over this format. consistently doing well, consistently, in their end games, being able to play through height and low ground. You said when height is free, they're able to play it. But Pink and Vico also on the same level. But as you said, they don't play for height as much. They use their bananas to actually get better positioning, less so for heal off. They're utilizing it to get deeper into to get those thirds and fourths and seconds.
They play Storm a lot.
They play Storm
really
a lot.
well, better than any other team I've seen. Really, to be honest, they play it a lot.
It fixes their whole timings in endgame. So realistically, I don't see them being able to win heal offs, but they're going to be top 5 in every single one of the qualifiers in
100%.
every single one. They'll be up there, and when it comes to top 25, they'll just qualify pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of those things for Vico and Pinks that everything when it goes right goes perfectly right. FNCS, when it goes right, the vibes are up, like they're winning FNCS and they're doing this. But then when things go wrong, it goes horrifically wrong for them. And you always see that when it comes to duo cash cups, maybe because there's less on the line and maybe you don't care as much about it. But I always have my worries about Vico and Pink because they're one of the best teams that are also very not the best team. It's a lot can go wrong, and momentum based. It's just I'm always scared for them, but they always make it through regardless. It just them competitive focus and Zangi is not really close.
I think this will be a good test for Pink and Vico because they're uncon, and I think the worst case scenario for them come grand finals is them being uncon. And so I think this will be a nice testing ground for them of how are we going about getting our surge? If we don't have, if we're in a bit more difficult lobbies and we aren't contested and can get some early surge to play with, what does our game plan look like then? But yeah, I think both teams will be fine.
Yeah, they're the two teams that impressed me the most.
Throughout
qualifiers.
Sure.
I don't want to say it. This wheel is looking mid. The teams left on it.
Yeah.
I mean, SPG, I'm going to be honest.
This has been the last 3 times. I'm just going to tell you guys, I can't help you.
SPG, man, come on, bro. Give us the download, bro. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Demus and Saren, Volco and Vortexes, and the final team, Robin and Zhu.
Robin and Drew, that one qual week, were going crazy.
Yeah. When they actually got to play round 4 with the servers, not obviously, the server issue, they had the same server issue. Crazy good.
But they're not conning Grimgate. They're just landing outside of it, right? And trying to third party it.
They'll be there every game, no matter what.
Okay.
They'll loot up, get some barrels, and they'll be in there.
They'll be right in there. Okay.
They will.
So I'm thinking Robin and Jew then. Grimgate, Dashcoin wins a game. You only need one, right?
Yeah.
And then Voco and Vortexers. How have they been this season? Because typically I would say they're a good duo.
Their fall off probably needs to be studied a little bit. Probably.
They're Volco and Vortexers.
Yeah,
they are just they're the same. Vortexers is the same as Vortex. He's just there. They're there in every grand. So it's just do I think they're going to win a Grands? No. But do I think they're probably...
Pheasant Piazza team winning the Grands? Yeah, man, come on. Let's get serious.
Let's get serious here. But it's just, they are just there every time. They just chip away at it. No one's talked about them. They're an upper bracket. I mean, no one's talked about a lot of these teams, to be honest. But they're in...
Levin just forced us to talk about all of them.
Yeah, the storylines we're writing about all these teams contesting Rig and Islands. That's what we're talking about. But... yeah, Volco and Vortexes, they surely are just going to call through consistency. They are just the most consistent, 6 to 7 out of 10 team that just is there and does what it needs to do to qualify.
Beautiful. They'll get 14th on day 3, sneak through.
To be fair though, I actually would say I might disagree just because, again, I think the Grimgate situation is just very uncomfortable. And so I don't know if Robin and Drew win a game. I think maybe Volco and Vortex win a game because they do play for Forecast out of Piazza. Yeah. So I think they're probably more likely to win a game just based on what I've seen from them. But Robin and Drew's pop-up potential is far more than any of these other ones. So
yeah. Well, Volco and Vortex will have it all if they win on spawn, right? And then Robin and Drew, I mean, they seem like the team that's there to disrupt game gates a little bit, and they, will probably end up third-partying it a bunch and doing okay and having one game where they end up getting the bot over Fedoxy and Tripper and all the other guys nearby. So they'll probably make it to consistency. You know,
it's like you also have to remember how like the games are played in terms of just like sequentially. I think it's more likely that Volcom for Texas get full cast and win a game before Robin and Drew figure out a game at Grimgate where they just happen to get going. Like I think it's more likely that happens first, which is why
not giving Demas and Wuka any.
Yeah, we're not talking about any of these other guys. Let's get in there.
Demas and
let's speedrun this shit, bro. Let's speedrun this NA shit, bro. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's speedrun NA. Bam, bam. Let's get in there. In there, like swimwear. Please just give us Peterbot. Clicks.
I'm stealing the first one because we just had to do
it.
You got an EU team.
We're letting you. Imagine.
We're so close.
Imagine, bro. All right, visuals and braids. The first team that gets pulled up
I need
here.
the NA map. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I need the NA map too.
Where's
Anyone have it?
report? Someone link it when you find it, Harry.
I will find it. Hold on.
Who is this team? Diminished and who's Diminished playing with again this season?
Do you not see his name? 8DA23854D7. He's crazy.
Cam. Okay.
Well, his name was Flu Cam Slam. Why would that get? Maybe he changed it to something that.
He might have just messed it up.
Yes, we upper bracket. Got it.
Ooh, Muzz and
Can you link
paper.
that?
The NA is a stacker. What is our region?
NA is so good. Everything they do is so clean, man.
NA just might be the best region now, bro.
Yeah, if they had eyes towards high ground, like this region would be crazy.
It's over, bro. Yeah, if they just looked up at it, like the region would be crazy.
All right, so this one actually isn't that bad. I do think actually all of these teams have a shot to win a game, but I'm gonna like Muzz and Paper by far the best team of all three of these. They've looked like one of the teams that can contend to win FNCS if Peterbot wasn't a thing. And now I think they'll wind up splitting fencing with Acorn and Cold. I don't think they'll wind up fighting for it. And what's the map say?
The QuadCon offense.
There's a lot of people.
The boys are in town.
Yeah.
But also I could see like multiple of those teams winning out of fencing. So I'm going to go Muzz and Paper. Easier to like say they win than consistency based on being QuadCon. So I'm going to take the easy way out, say they win a game, even though I think they could be consistent enough. Cam and Diminished got to be the second best team. I also think they could win a game, but I don't get two of those. So I'm going to say throughout the 3 days, they could finish top 25 on the last day. And Visuals and Braids, this is actually one where like I think Visuals and Braids qual as well, but I'm going to have to say they're the dud because the other two teams are just a step up.
I think for Diminished and Cam, the thing that's always interesting about this conversation for Underworld is that the fact that MPen and Pump just leave the Grim coin to them, you know? Like in Duo Cash Cup, they just said, in MPen's words himself, he said, you know what? I'm not even going to take the coin in Duo Cash Cup finals because Cam and Diminished are going to take it anyways. So, I mean, they have that aura so that, I mean, they seem like they have a certain level of respect around the Underworld, and that goes far within NA most of the times. So, they're pretty much a lock to do that. The Muzz and Paper, like, how they're not making grand finals, let's be honest.
Yeah. Muzz and Paper have been sleeper for so long. Like, I feel like they've been so good for so long, and every single time in the grand finals, they just perform slightly below what everyone would expect.
I would disagree that they've been so good for so long. Like, they've been good this season. When they first started playing together, it didn't look that good.
I felt like even in Chapter 4, they were good. I felt like even back to Chapter 4 when they were playing, they were still good. Like
individually, yes. I don't think they figured it out as a duo until this season.
Potentially, yeah. I wonder if I don't know. It could be a meta thing this season as well, as in like obviously working with the coach this season and having to be more disciplined allows you to have more consistent games. Every time, to be fair, I've watched them mainly this season. Every time I've watched them, their games look super clean from fencing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them win a game on first day or even on second day.
Yeah. All right. Let's get rid of this.
Let's run it
right back into the draw. I don't want this one. I don't want us to hit 3 hours today, so I want us to speed up. This is
there's a good more. If there's one more good team, I'll take this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll cherry which ones I want. Yeah.
If there's people on Poyo, I'm taking it.
There's people on Poyo, I'm here.
I want the EU team.
No. Yeah, BB can have this one. BB can have
Freeze and Veer, MPen and Pump. And who's the last team going to be? Last team is
You can have this one,
V, the legends.
I know
Victor V and
Levin
B-Dog.
loves this guy. You can have him.
B-Dog. The
If I
landing train
speak,
station outside Lavish.
if I speak, I'm in big trouble. All right, where's Friesen Veer landing? Where they landing?
Brawlers against Threats and Sphinx.
All right, or I'm gonna say M Pen and Pump win. Victor V and B-Dog consistency.
B-Dog.
Friesen Veer dud. I'm not a fan of brawlers. They're conning Threats and Sphinx, who I'm just gonna say clear them.
Yeah.
And Victor V, I only know Victor V. I think he's conned as well, so it's not actually doesn't look that good for him either. But I just know Victor V just because I remembered like there was just one Grands I watched where like he must have got the most screen time of any player. Like he was just always on the
I
screen.
remember
so.
that.
You remember that? Grand? Yeah, like, there was
It's when he was landing in the windmills in like the bottom right corner.
yeah.
He was, I forget who he was playing with, some like taco something or like it was some food. He was playing with some guy's name that was a
You know,
food.
Just some food, yeah. And I remember he just got all the screen time in the world, and he was just bossing it. So I became a Victor V fan from there. So that's my three. Any disagreements? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Let's
Ed
go.
Penn and Pump win a game. I do think they qual, but I don't think they win a game. That's just not who they are.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's
Also,
fair.
the first time I watched NA was when Batman Booga and KBM Rapid had that incident. So you know, there's potential for milkage potentially.
No, 100% there is. 100% there is. It was fabled taco. Autolock said in the chat. All right. Percent Bravo, Vorks and Hypno.
This
I'll be
team
honest,
just
I
this
don't know
team-
these teams.
This region's
is-
as Mickey as EU. Like
I
it's
hate
just like,
fucking shit. These
Yeah,
guys don't
yeah,
touch.
yeah.
Who are these guys?
On a
All right.
FNtasia podcast note, right? I remember that there was a comment on one of the other podcasts we did. I think it was maybe last episode before, and someone in the comments said, "You guys really sleep on other regions. There's other regions other than EU and NA, you know." And I'm like, one, shut up. Two, look at how crap EU and NA are, and you want us to fucking do this for Middle East? Oh, come on, man. Come on. Give me a break.
We only have so much time too. Like I
true,
can't
yeah.
watch all these regions.
all right,
Can
I can barely watch
I want
one.
to watch all the
Yeah,
regions.
I can barely watch EU. All right. Should we just skip this?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take my veto skip on who.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's just skip
Oh, the
this.
disrespect.
I mean, you can say something about them SBG.
We
well,
made
yeah.
No, you guys would have. Nah, I did this to you guys on EU, so don't worry. I skipped 3 of them.
Polish teams standing on 5 chests.
Don't you dare to say, skip. If you have something to say it. If you don't, we're skipping that shit, bruh.
It's definitely a good team.
Okay,
I
yeah.
feel so bad for you, SVG. We made you go through 30 of the shittest EU teams I've ever seen for us to skip some like half decent NA teams.
Oh, my
Nah, that
God.
last one was not worth it.
Yeah, that YouTube guy's going crazy. I can't lie. I wouldn't say Seek just got shit. I just remember Seek getting shit on by Peter Ball. That's all I remember.
I mean, Seek 1v2 Booga, didn't he? I swear, Slappy.
Seek and
Yeah.
Dash are actually pretty good. Dash
Yeah,
is
they're
like
actually really good.
a
Yeah.
pretty nasty fighter.
If I speak.
Back to you, SBG. What were we saying, bro? Nah. Bryson Bolts are decent. Vanillas and Convict aren't bad as well. I've seen them about quite a bit.
What's your thoughts on Zeus?
I don't know much about Zeus at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I could take this one. For bolts, it's the swap from Central from West obviously has been affecting them a lot, but he's still doing DC and making it through. Bryce, if I remember correctly, Bryce is the guy that won games at Copenhagen. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
in saying that?
they won.
He played
they
with
won games.
Chubbs.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
played
Him
with
and Chubbs played really well last year.
Yeah, and he also
Yeah.
had that one very awkward interview, if I remember correctly, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bryce and Bolts, I think, are probably the favorites here, especially considering they are pretty much uncontested. I'm looking at this NA map, and I'm seeing something different for once. It's the fact that Richer and V don't have the entire south of Reckless as well, including Forecast Tower. Has there been a shift here in the alphaness of NA, SPG?
Wait, Are you saying
No,
Ritual? The map I'm looking at, Ritual and
They're
Mood are
uncon.
Oh, do
uncon.
they? Oh,
the map
okay.
I'm on, they're uncon, which is what's the
Okay.
map
Wait,
you
do
have?
you
No, no,
What-
no.
do
What
you mean
usually,
forecast?
yeah, with forecast. Usually, Richard Reed have the train station plus the entirety of the south side, including forecast. But maybe that was because of
Like they
jiving.
mark it like that?
Yeah, they marked it on that. I've
Holy
seen that last
shit.
grand finals. That was the exact same way it happened. But I'm going to assume that Bryson Bolts give Richard and Reed the respect because that's what they always do. But Bryson Bolts are the better team out of these three, so I'm going to put them as a game winner, and then Convic and Vanilla I'm going to put as the consistent team because the other guy has a lot of numbers in his name, and I don't know who the other guy is because he has Twitter in his name, and when you have Twitter in your name, usually you've really lost. So.
This analysis is nuts. I'm not picking this guy because he has numbers. Hey, that's the exact same shit I would have said.
All right, I'm taking it. I'm taking this
All
one.
right,
Yeah,
go on,
I'll
step
take
up,
it.
step up. Regardless of who it is, you got to take
Okay.
it, Harry. Go on.
All right, it's fine. It's
Ooh,
fine.
Okay, no, it's
Okay.
script.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right.
Last script in his duo.
All right. Who's next?
Right.
We got
Right,
Crizzux.
can
We
I-
got some Vamos Espanol. He's Mexican. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
Just assuming it now.
Nah, because I know Takata like always is watching Crizzux, and I make fun of him for only watching Spanish-speaking people. And then you get the EU team.
Yeah.
Of course,
Finally.
Harry gets the EU team.
Finally.
Paco and
5
Nick's team
minutes
to
of
wrap it
EU
up.
waffle. Here comes.
There is no analysis needed. When all you need to know is Paco and Mixon will look at high ground. They will use their eyes, they will move up, and they will see the high ground. Even no matter whether they're triple conned, it doesn't matter, right? They are just going to win a game. Now, Suscript and Sid being contested in the bottom left. Where's Crizzux landing? Oh, cannot find him. Wait, can you? Oh, he's also part of the fencing. Well, I mean, he's definitely the worst team there at fencing. If you got Acorn Cold, Donnie and King, and Muzz and Paper, he's by far the worst team at fencing. So they're probably gonna dud. I just don't see them being able to do well. And when you look at the bottom left split, you can end up just splitting that in two. You can take the beach and the north side. You can take like the plains and the red, and you both get enough loot to play the game. And I feel like that's something that's really going to happen. I doubt they'll really fight. So I say Suscript and Sid will quad through consistency, and Paco and Mixon to win a game, obviously, and Crizzux and Yasir to dud because they're just over contested at fencing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, Yasir doesn't have his other PlayStation boys to team with him in this cup, so it's gonna be tough.
Oh, is he a
Shade.
Yeah, I've watched him, Dorito, and there's one more player that team in the PlayStation Cup regularly and just keep getting away with it.
They don't have good awareness. They just have great awareness, not to fight.
Yeah. Don't want to fight those guys, right?
Yeah. Those guys look good. We're not fighting them.
Clearly not in a call.
Yeah.
All right. Yumi and Vert. Okay. Yumi and Vert, Curve, and Tyler. Sorry.
H.
Yeah,
Tyler.
Tyler H. And the last team to wrap it up is Booga. All right. Booga and Ages, Yumi and Vert, and then Curve and Tyler H. Well, Curve and Tyler H are cons on against Bravo and Percent on the mountain, sort of north of Mount Olympus. Where is Yumi and Vertland in this season?
Classy
con.
Ooh, okay. Con that classy. Interesting. And Hazants and Magia have been good this season. Hazants came over from, or I don't know if he came over or if he went anywhere, but he was playing on BR, Brazil before, and he's been playing on NA this season. And I remember just from the week I watched of NA, they were popping off. Like, they were doing really good.
Yeah, they've been such a surprise. I did not think it would work that well, that quick.
I don't know I wonder if anyone in chat knows like the history of those two conning off spawn, because I'd be curious to see who's had the better off spawn. Just because I just know that Hazants has been doing pretty good in NA. So that'd be one that I'm curious about. Yumi and Verto, pardon?
I was going to say, I wonder if they coordinate Duo Cash Cup finals together. Obviously they didn't have as many tournaments because of no eval, so maybe they haven't contested as much.
Yeah, no, honestly, all three of these teams, or not all, sorry, not all three of these teams, sorry. Yumi and Booga, like those two teams, like did really well. At least initially. Booga and Aegis were a weird one because I think obviously they sort of caused that snake in initially on NA, and people were looking at them like, you guys better be the best. You better be the best team after what you've caused. And I think it was a bit rocky at first, but they've been pretty all right. I'm inclined to say, just because of how good Yumi and Vert did earlier, that they will also do really well, even though they're Condor spawn. So I'd say Booga and Aegis win a game, Yumi and Vert consistency, and then Curve and Tyler, that is where I'd go with this one. Yeah, Hazens and Magia are from Peru, which is the opposite coast of Brazil, so they get like 100 ping. Yeah, but now they're playing on NA this season, and they looked really, really good. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going with. Yumi and Vert, consistency.
Hot take, Booga doesn't make grants? Are we doing that one too? Or...
No shot.
No.
Okay, no, I'm not with you on that one.
I agree.
I don't know that he
wins
wins
enough.
a game, but also like this season we've seen like almost nobody win games, so it's hard to like say. But typically Booga is like a similar to what you guys described, Trulex and Chicho, just like he's gonna play for 3rd, 4th, 5th place as opposed to try and get the win.
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, that's
All
fair
right.
enough. Yeah.
On to the next.
It
Oh,
is
shit.
interesting. It is interesting how Booga like caused all this, and his duo doesn't seem like the best out of all of the outcomes from it. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in grands.
Is this an Elden Ring fucking boss? Briga the Elder?
Who is that? I don't even know.
Briga the Elder, Monty, Hanley, and Awi. This is an SPG take right now.
I don't know who these people are.
I do know this Briga
if he has
guy.
numbers in his name, I'm skipping. Wait,
Can I take this? I got something about
It's
this
all
Briga.
you.
All right, this Briga guy. So this is how prepared he is. He's come into my chat and asked, "How do I get surge from this spot?" That is his preparation. I was like, I've never heard. He's like, I'm in upper bracket. I was like, who are you? And he was like, NA. I was like, wait, really? And I looked. They're landing the island split. They're obviously only use contested. But if you're going into someone's chat to ask for where do I get surge, you know,
Oh no.
They're doing their homework, bro.
they're going around all of it. Wait for the message in chat. It'll be coming to you next. How do you get surge? But yeah, I mean, I don't see them doing anything really, to be honest, from that spot. Bacon and TK haven't restored reels on con. Like, I mean, we talk about this meta all the time. I think it suits restored reels. I think it's just going to be very easy for them. Probably winning a game, I'd say. Like once, as we've talked about, you know, Pierre Bonpoy win every game. So how do we know who else wins games? Realistically, it's just like I would assume once you know you get those you get the get Pierre Bonpoy out the way, they're going to be able to get those games where they're going to get to end game with good mats. Now I'm going to be honest, don't know who these guys are. Wheezy, wherever he's at, is he even on the map? Oh, he has triple conned Rebels Roost. So we'll leave. Actually, you know, my boy Bree's gonna fall. He's gonna turn. My boy Bree's gonna fall.
Someone in chat said, "Levin, never do this again." I just want to let you guys know this was Resub's idea, and he set us up, bro. Resub was like, "You guys should do this for the pod." He set us up, bro.
Yeah, it's all good, but Briga and Monty gonna qual, and Briga the Elder, my Elden Ring boss, he's gonna qual. So.
All right.
You know, I have to say I agree. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
some homework's better than no homework. He's doing something.
Roll the next one.
I think I'm gonna start rolling these in like groups of 6s instead.
Roll until we get Peterbot.
Roll until we get Peterbot. Sure.
Should we just do this in batches of 6s just so that we like, at least can, you know what I mean? Because
it's 5 spins versus 6 spins. That's painful.
It's just
unless we get like a good one right now. Okay.
It's Skittles.
Skittles and Kashi.
This is nice. Who else is there? Who else do we get? Okay.
Raise and Curly.
He has Goon in his name, okay.
Yeah, he's a goon. You know, it's studded. You know, it's studded. And we're gonna keep rolling because we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this in rows. We'll keep rolling. Okay. D roller. Okay, not
He's
bad.
Proven.
Yeah, not bad. D-Roller and Crackly.
The guy who played with Pilkey. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, this is getting.
Baka and
Okay, we're getting
Paz.
close to
Okay.
EU. He has Cowan his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baka and Paz. That's nice. And then.
Peterbot.
Peterbot.
Oh!
Millionaires.
Oh, millionaires. Yeah.
And then millionaires, clicks, and epic whale. Okay.
How-
I'll start off the conversation about clicks and epic well. How about that? I'll take the bullet. Says no one really knows too much about clicks and epic well this season.
Like that.
Honestly, I'd say clicks and epic well have peaked at a wrong point in their careers here. That's my take for them this season. Like, I think they could be a team potentially that would have won this FNCS if Peterbot was never born or Poyo was never born. They've actually, I'm impressed, and it's mainly because there's a shift now into the way that they're playing the game. As much as BloodX loved this high ground last season, I personally didn't agree with the way it was currently played. And this season, with them playing mid gun, they look a lot better and they're looking a lot more consistent. So whether or not they win games through it, I don't think happens. Like, they're giving me kind of more fraggy Cami City vibes of past times. But there's going to be a team that will make it through consistency in upper bracket number 3, 100%.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't see them winning. I do think they're too good not to qualify through consistency. The two teams I think have the best shot of winning games, Baka Pars and then Skittles Trashy. Skittles Trashy are going to play for height. They'll get it if they're not afraid or Peterbot's left the lobby, and they'll wind up winning a game.
So I agree with you guys in that. I think clicks and epic will quote easily. I'm not as high on them as I think all of you guys are. I think for them to get to these end games that we're talking about, to play the way they want, is not as clear cut and simple. Like, when I was going through watching their games, their strat is they land lavish. If they're con, they usually win. That's one thing I'll give them. They're quite good off spawn at lavish. So if they're con, I don't think they'll have problems, and I don't think they will be conned. So cool, they land lavish. The loot they get from lavish is usually never that good. There's nobody around. Like, the deads area that you get from lavish is like the only area on the map I think has like a bigger dead area is like the pink split, right? Where it's like there's just nothing going on around them. Like, you're searching far to get any sort of surge. And that's what they do, right? Like, they run about, like clicks and epic, they'll run about, they'll go to one of the bunkers that somebody's already claimed, and they'll try force a fight for a bit of surge. A lot of the times they are actually just pushing people off of these bunkers, which again just shows how good their fighting prowess is. But they're like pushing people off bunkers and like trying to get better loot that way and get their shields up and whatnot. It's like that's cool, but like in a grand finals lobby, if that's like your strat, like if you're only relying on fighting and your ability to fight people off of their already established bunkers, like I don't think you're in a good spot. Like, generally, like, even if your end games are looking pretty clean, which I think they've been all right, yeah, I wonder what happens come grand final time. But again, we're talking about semis here, and for semis I don't think there's a problem, but I do wonder how they look as a duo going into the weekend after next.
I think they're also heavily relying on clicks hitting snipes for surge too. Like, if he hits them, then they'll be okay. If he doesn't hit them, then that's when they're forced to take those bunker fights.
You guys mentioned like the basin, like surge basin, right? And that being a meta this season for surge, right? Which it very much is. It's like they're allergic to them. They don't want to. I've not watched their stream, so I don't hear what the comms are with them and Blood. And if Blood is still here in the chat, maybe you can let us know. I don't know if he's telling them to, and they're just saying, "Nah, fuck off. We'd rather fight." But like they don't surge. There's times when I'm like, there's been times I've watched them, right, where like they're in the perfect situation to just base up and just beam people for surge. Like, they're sitting on top of lavish, they've had their loot or whatever, there's nothing happening, and they'll just sit there and just be like twiddling their thumbs, not doing anything. I'm like, at least like base up and just practice getting surge. Like, it's weird. I don't know. It's like they're allergic to surge baits, and they just want to fight for all their surge. But again, they're good at fighting, so I get it.
No, I wanted to go on to Boop's point that I do think they peaked at the wrong time. I totally agree. Like, I watched them at the start of this season, the first couple of tournaments. Their end games look insanely clean. Like they look like they know exactly what they're doing at what time
Yeah.
they're doing it and when they're going for refreshes and why they're going. Like they're not just randomly doing things, right? Everything feels like has a reason behind it, and it doesn't feel like, as you said, go for height every single game. If it doesn't work, well, we'll go again next game. It feels like they have a lot more structure towards their end games. And yeah, I think the biggest issue they have, and not to agree, like just copy your thing, is just Surge. It's lavish. The way they played Surge last season doesn't feel like it suits this season's Surge. When you're a team who fought for Surge last season, you crash padded onto teams, or you grappled onto teams around you, because it is a dead area, but you go slightly towards the west side, and there's a lot of teams in that area: the gas station team, the Rebel Roost team, the Vault next to it. You have 3 teams in that area. If you go to the right to it, you have the Classy team, the Cemetery team, you have the train station team. You have teams, but the thing is, when you don't have the mobility to gain the distance, you're going to struggle. It's a struggle.
It's age, right? Yeah, it's harder to play that way when you don't have mobility. And they're still playing that way, which is why, like, again, it's like I'm so curious to see just what grand finals looks like for them, because I envision so many games where it's like they're just struggling to get to end game for Surge. Like they're just trying to play these all-in crazy 50-50 fights with people fucking like camping on bunkers and Storm because they just don't have Surge.
But if they get to end game,
if they get to end game, I think they do look amazing this season. I do agree with that. I think they look a lot better. They look a lot more polished. You don't have Epic while falling off high ground and shit like that no more. Like it's actually coherent to some degree. But yeah,
no, I agree. All right, on to the next
all right, let's go. Let's move on to the next slot. Even though I don't really know what we did there, but yeah, we
talked about it.
At least we talked about Fortnite for once, which is nice. Yomzo and Rise, that's nice.
A lot we can say about them.
There's a lot to say. Trust me, there's a lot to say.
We're gonna get all the good teams now, aren't we?
Yeah, all the good teams, and then we can just
give us one more. Give us Canada.
Ooh, imagine we get Canada now.
Give us Canada.
Peterbot, Poyo, Yomzo Rise, and the last team is Frets and Sphinx. Okay,
this is a.
Well, we're gonna keep the way we were doing this before on this one. How you guys want to run it?
Oh my god! Okay,
I'll let you guys do this one because you should be able to talk about these 3 teams.
I think we can all chip in here a bit before. We,
well, I mean, there's one obvious one.
There's one.
Peterbot and Poyo just win.
Yeah,
they just win again.
They just win. Yeah.
They just win. They win game 1, and then they get La back and then win the other 9. They just keep winning games. So it's just if NA has been conditioned to the point where no one looks for height at this point, it's impossible for them not to win a game.
Yeah, 100%. So then consistency, I'd probably go with Yomzo and Rise.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't think they've looked amazing this season, but it's like I just expect them to get it together. Like they have, they are too good to dud on this magnitude. But
yeah, I was going to quickly say, sorry about it. It's like I think I wanted to say most of their issues come from like opens. The way that landing spot works in opens. As suffering from success, you get more loot, but more teams want to like split it. How it is in EU, you have one team on the tunnel with the bunker to the south, and then you have the like the villa and the pad, and then towards gas station. On NA, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like Eons and Rise want it all, which then when it comes to opens, where teams are going to be splitting it, you're going to be griefed more often than not, right? But if you're in a finals lobby and you're allowed to take all that loot, you're set up for success every single game. You got the launch pads, you got the fishing spots, you've got bunkers, you've got forecast to spawn, you've got guaranteed cap metal. Like you've got everything you need to do well. So I feel like in finals they're going to perform way better than they did in like opens and round 3s and 4s.
A good question I want to ask is which team is going grim after Peter and Poyo win? Like who's taking it?
That is a good question.
Ooh.
I don't think there's any team that's established. No, I don't think Acorn Cold want to. They've been too
the
good
4
at
times cons,
fencing.
right?
Yeah, that's quad con. Surely you leave to go to Grim.
No, but like surely that's why you don't leave, because you're like the best team there, so the other teams will just leave, no?
Yeah, because you're expecting to qualify anyways. That like you don't mind playing a few more games of upper bracket because it's practice.
Right.
I mean, does Code want to practice? I don't know.
Code might want to get the fuck out.
Yeah, he wants to win and go. Yeah.
It also secures your drop spot though if you can be the only team to qual out of fencing and like kind of put in that work. So if you leave, it also makes it easier for other teams at fencing to qualify. So it doesn't. To me, that doesn't make sense. But who knows? They may do it because they're just like, I'm done playing Fortnite for this week.
And this is why we needed Quanti, man. But
Yeah,
man,
that's why Quanti needed to save
that's
it.
why we needed Quanti.
I wonder if Threats and Sphinx are going to struggle a little bit, just because I don't know how contested Brawler's Battleground is going to be, but from what we've seen from history is that spot is kind of like a pit in the south side of the map that just gets milked fully, you know?
Mhm.
It's one of the worst positional medallions we've had so far. It's going to be cooked a little bit for them, but not to the point where they'll probably not qualify. I actually had another question relating to this because it was interesting the way we talked about Yomzo and Rise and how NA's been slightly conditioned to like, you know, giving them all of this drop, or like they're trying to claim all of this drop. Do you guys think that the practice environment in EU and NA directly determines how good or how teams react to like what actually happens in tournaments and how they play?
I mean, yeah, naturally, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't how are you meant to practice other things, right? It's like the whole, like, the main one I always think about is forecasts. Obviously it's impossible to regulate, but it's like forecast spots get regulated based on the regions and based on how the practice is. As you said, region ritual is the same in scrims. I'm pretty sure they got that forecast every single game in scrims, so it got conditioned that it was their forecast. Yeah, in EU there's a whole different drop spot being conned by Kieran Kidwo and Pink and Vico for that exact forecast. And also even Reckless last season, in NA it was split north and south. On EU it's west and east. You know, so it's just, I think it comes down to the practice, and well, most of the time it comes down to the start of the season and what people perceive landing spots to look like and how they're going to play. What means what you're going to get in loot, right? It depends like, what you think is possible. Like, there are still splits in actual tournaments you watch, and you're like, this just doesn't seem like it's logical and should work. It feels like if teams have prepped for a different way to play the spot, it would be way more efficient. But because of the practice and the way it's set up, they can't actually do that.
I mean, that's generally how it works, though. Like, the best team, they're like, you know what? I want this split. I'm like, you know what? I mean, you're going to win this FNTS, you know? Like, sure, you can take it. But to a little bit lesser extent, I think, in EU compared to NA, like, we've seen teams like, yeah, you know, you're landing south of Peterborough. I'm sorry, even though you can't WK in scrims, you're going to get WK by Peterborough and Poyo. You know? That's just the way it's going to be because, you know, we can't stop them at this point. So it's very interesting to see, like, how actual practice like molds a region and whether or not that has an effect like globally as well. I don't know.
Well, a lot of the big name duos don't even practice in NA. Like, you won't regularly see them in games. So it's like, all right, someone has to fill that. So they kind of just figure it out. But
that's
at least,
how you
like,
use as well, though.
Yeah, but at least you guys have the eval cups and like round 2 of the eval cups to like actually kind of work out some of those things. Or
those lobbies aren't all like, even then it's like because of the duo cash cup format now, and even same with eval, it's like it's still not reflective. Like, you look at those lobbies in EU for duo cash cup and eval finals, it's not reflective of what is going to be grands. Like, a lot of the top teams still end up missing out on those.
It looks like a noble lobby most of the time.
Like it doesn't.
A late night noble lobby where there's like a bunch of teams who you've never heard of qualifying, and you're just like, well, they might be upcomers, or they're just a random team we've never heard of before.
And most exciting part of it is like how many cheaters actively get banned. You know, like is he going to start spinning around this time? I don't know. You know?
Yeah,
that's true.
I wish it was more like that, because then you could get more insight, you know, into like what's actually happening in the region, you know. But it's like, you look at those cash cup lobbies and the eval lobbies, and it's like, this ain't the one. I think I'm gonna draw the last remaining of these teams in like groups of 5, so we have 4 left. Like 4 more spins left, because we're about to hit 3 hours.
Yeah, I gotta fail on you guys
soon. I thought you were gonna draw the line here and just end it after that one.
I want to, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll keep it going for a bit longer.
Draw out the good teams.
Here's Twitter in his name. It's already over. Just wait until you have TTV. Where's the TTV?
Yeah, it's not a thing anymore.
I see one. I saw one.
It's all like Twitter, TikTok.
We're losing recipes, man.
Yeah,
we're losing recipes. Yeah, they have Twitter in their names. You go to their Twitter, there's nothing.
My favorite's like Twitch, and then they haven't streamed in like 3 years, but for some reason have Twitch in their name.
Right. That makes sense.
I'm
happy to skip this one.
Yeah, can we take a Mickey Mouse skip here?
I'm happy to.
Wait, maybe we get one more team that we could just fully remove from having to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm content.
They're contesting fencing, Donnie and King. So
Yeah, chalk it up.
We're
Yep,
skipping.
they're gone.
We're skipping.
Donnie and King are creative warriors.
Yeah. Isn't King one like the biggest wager warriors? I'm pretty sure.
They both are. They both are constantly playing zone wars. And
Wait, we just
didn't
got
we just
again.
get them?
We just got Flicks again. He was on it twice.
Oh, you probably pressed the wrong button, I think.
No, he might have been
On there twice?
He might
you
have
may
been
have
on there twice.
pressed
No,
close.
because you had 16 entries left, it said,
Yeah.
even though you picked 5, so something went wrong.
Yeah,
Did I press close instead of remove then maybe?
you might have. Yeah.
This
fine.
one's not looking. For the audio listeners, we have SMK Hazenzi I and SMK Magcram sad face, and then King Max Poseidon emoji and smiley. If you
Money. G money and reciprocal.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
he's Doomy doing, isn't he? It was an ad.
It's a Valorant. He's a Valorant player. He's a Dorito Val.
You can just tell from Levin's face he doesn't know what to say about it.
Go again. Go again.
Well, okay. So the one thing I'll say on Hazens, I actually do. I'm this week. I'm definitely going to jump into Hazens' games just because they looked really good from what I saw, like through the broadcast, consistently in end games, like consistently a problem. It felt like for a lot of these teams, and yeah, it's like they're the team that's like moved region, right? Like they weren't playing on NA before, now they are, but they actually look like a top team on the region so far. So, fair play to them. But yeah, we can skip because I don't think anyone else has anything to say. So.
I'm waiting for Aiken to call pretty much, I think.
The one thing about Hassans and Magi, I'm really interested to see because everyone else is like conditioned to how the region's supposed to play out. They may be like the spoiler that's like, I don't care about Peter Bot. Like, I want to play high ground, or I don't care about X or Y team. I'm going to do this or that, which would be really interesting.
It would be interesting in a season where we don't have like Thanos in the lobby who is untakeable from height, you know?
True.
Like, yeah, let's look up, guys. It's just like you just see the triple dashing up. Yeah, you know, I think I'm gonna chill.
It's actually
How many games will Peter and Poyo win in Grand?
4, 5,
7.
5. Oh, nah, 6. I'll say they win 6.
It's crazy. Crazy. This is a conversation they're going to win somewhere between 4 and like 7 or 8. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, game's game.
NA's NA.
Ooh, this one's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, this one's saved. Yeah.
Okay. This could be the like. What's the rest of the wheel looking like?
Reach
just
and
add
Rich
Reet and Ritual.
Yeah, just add Reet and
Yeah,
Ritual.
let's just
type the
imagine
name
they're
in.
there.
You can
Yeah.
type them.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't.
Oh,
'cause
never
this
mind.
is
Oh,
not-
that's fine. We'll just say that here.
You know what we
Yeah.
can? And I can just remove everyone else that is still here.
Yes, remove
The
everyone
only
else.
team to draw is Reet and Ritual.
Yeah.
So,
Who are we gonna draw?
Who we gonna get, guys? Oh.
If Diox is watching, this is definitely simulating something in him.
He's watching the broadcast just to see.
Oh, big hit.
He's betting on the
Okay.
teams to be drawn out.
Okay, what do we think then, lads?
I mean, like, I'll first start. I want to start with probably not the team most would expect. It's Blake and Matt Wood. Like, I think the fact they're still competing and making up a bracket is really impressive to me.
Mhm.
You know, with Macwood just seems, I don't know how, like, it felt like he quit like before chapter 3, and then he's come back chapter 4, chapter 5, and he's just making grands again. And I don't really know how. He's contested Grand Glacier, and it might be the same as EU Battle of the Mid in Grand Glacier, where it's just a bunch of teams who are tier 2-ish who are going to be able to compete there. But I'm just actually happy there's a couple of OGs who are still running about, you know, the Macwood from the OG days, still kicking it about and still actually performing at a high level. You know, we don't see it often, and at least they're still, you know, performing at a decently good level. I'm pretty sure they made grands last season, didn't they?
I don't think
Yeah,
they
they did.
played. Did they play
Well, they
together
did.
last season?
I thought they did make
I think
grands.
they did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, Macwood has a nick for winning games. Like, he's pretty consistent about whenever he needs to win a game to qualify, he's able to do it. So if they're able to win off spawn cleanly, at least, you know, 3, 4, 5 games out of the weekend, I think they'll be all right. I would get nervous though if they're con the whole weekend about getting that consistency, because I just don't think that they're going to be as good as they need to be come what is it, Friday or Sunday when you need to get top 25?
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, I think so.
No.
I'd say the one team that I'm a little bit questionable on is Canada Cooper. Like in theory, this is a team that should be making waves and FNtasia winner plus global championship winner. But every time I end up watching them, it just sort of ends up becoming a little bit awkward. Nothing too much too crazy, but they always do like okay. I do wonder if the whole area around Peter Boyer affects them to some extent when it comes to an actual like set lobby or grands lobby. It'd be interesting to see how they react when Peter Boyer win the first game, and then there's another Grim team line in there if their whole strategy completely changes. Because I feel like that gives them more room for things to happen and room for them to actually make things a little bit more interesting around that area of the map.
No, I agree. It's like when you put together Canada, a name like Canada who makes every grand finals, and a name like Cooper who is meant to be, well, he got picked up from Mirror. Was he 5K for 5,000 earnings when he got picked up by Mirror? And then obviously the whole of 2023 happened, winning winning globals, to now playing with Canada. You feel like, oh, this is a super team. You know, this is a team who you feel like, maybe without Pierre Poyo, you're thinking could win. But you look at them play and you watch them and you're like, this just feels like a very, you know, top 10 team, maybe top 15. You're not wowed by them. You're expected to see pop-off moments. You're expecting to get to the edge of your seat watching them play, but it just feels like the gameplay is just pretty boring to watch. And maybe Yacht get removed, you know, maybe ruin some of their motivation. They're landing at a really good spot. I don't know if it's the
I think they got to hit the Harris and Skibby VODs, to be honest. That's all I think of them. They just got to hit those guys' VODs because they make that spot look like one of the best in the game.
Yeah. From what I've seen from those two, it's really good when they get to endgame, and then they're a chicken with their head cut off when it comes to endgame. Is they can't help themselves. They see somebody get cracked. They see a solo, and they jump on him for no reason. Don't do it the right way where you're going to secure the refresh. Just jump in somebody's box, like rotate a weird way, and then they consistently throw a game when they didn't need it. They're like 5-5-5 rotating in 8th, 9th zone. They're like, oh, dude, you know, this guy just got cracked. Let's totally throw our entire game to go get this absolutely scuffed player's refresh. And that's what I've seen when I'm watching them. It's like regularly Canada and Cooper just go for some random refresh that they don't need, and that costs them the game.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Get boot back in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I agree. I was going to say quickly back on the Canada and Cooper. I wonder, I think we touched on it last week, is like, are they going to do stuff towards Grim Gate coming up to grand finals? You know, we saw in the Jura Cash Cup, they went to Underworld a lot of the time to just pick up the Siphon coin from what was happening there with MPen dropping it. I wonder if they're wonder if they're going to do something, not with obviously picking up the Siphon coin, but going to Grim Gate more. I wonder if they're saving it all to grand finals, because I feel like if you're Canada and Cooper, you're a good fighting team. You can't be sat there scared of Peter Poyo. Like, I don't think that's something that's going through their head, that they're terrified of Peter Poyo, and they're like, we can win this, and then we get Grim Gate, and then we can just win the game. I wonder if that's going to be in their playbook coming up to this weekend and next weekend. What just happened?
Who was his background? Someone just dying in the background?
Someone just screaming.
Acorn Cold, I don't think any of us have any suggestion that they're not going to qualify, whether it be win, consistency, probably win a game. Ritual and Reet is, to me, the most interesting, that like we could throw a dud in there for them. I don't think it'll happen, but like I think there's a chance that they do dud, because they went from last season being the best team going into FNCS Grand Finals and then not really living up to that expectation. And it seems like this season they've struggled to really figure out what the meta is, and they're kind of stuck playing the way they wanted to last season. And now they're uncon, which is going to give them problems. Like, Ritual can't get all the Storm Surge. Last season, he was a sniper, just taking shots and hitting shots for it. Now he can use the DMR this season, but I don't like, there's no one consistently around them if they're going to get Reckless all to themselves. So they could run into a lot of Surge issues, because as we know, controller is not the easiest. It's a little easier with the DMR. Nonetheless, there's not a pure path for them to get to Grands, I believe.
No, I agree. I would say Surge, especially from we were talking about dead areas. I'd say Reckless is the biggest one. You have the whole west side of you, which isn't even a landing spot. The right side, which also isn't really even a landing spot, unless you're going obviously to forecast, which most of the time are going to be in a Surge base on the forecast, ready to go. It's like you have no one to get Surge on. You literally have no one to get Surge on, no one to do anything for. The closest team who's contested is either Grand Glacier or the train station by Lavish Lair. It's a worry, and obviously it ended up being a disaster for Janus and Flixie last season. Surge is even higher this season with DMRs. I wonder if, as you said, Surge could be a huge problem for them.
No, it will definitely be a problem for them. I think the big thing for that duo again is just like what can you cook up for Surge? I think they'll make it through semis all right, but yeah, when you start looking at like grands, it's like this could be a problem. Is there anything else? Can we wrap up?
I think that's everything.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
everything.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, we touched on everything.
Bloody hell. Well,
That was
That was
we're gonna hit the drawing board and find some new formats. Let's say that. Jeez Louise. But this is how we try.
blame resub, blame Reese,
blame resub, guys. Blame resub. Thank you all for hanging out though. It has been enjoyable still. Just the banter and the laughs we've had has been good. Let everyone know, guys, where they can find you, what you're going to be up to over the next week, and then we can wrap this sheet up.
I'll be Coach_Harry. Going to be watching most of the full screen. Going to be watching most. Going to be watching all of like the FNCS teams, kind of just preparing for them, seeing who's an underdog, who's looking good, who are the favorites, just so we can be more prepared going forward. And yeah, maybe you can learn a thing or two, or see me hate watch on a couple of teams. But yeah, should be good.
Yeah, we love a Harry hate watch. SBG, where can the people find you?
Somebody's Gun everywhere. If you're a TikTok kid with a short attention span, don't worry, I got you. I'll trick you into learning about Fortnite a little bit. And then also this upcoming weekend, I should be casting a LAN, not Fortnite, here in North Carolina, which will be pretty cool. So that's at Vessel GG on Twitter if you want to follow them.
Not Fortnite. What game is it?
So it's actually a bunch of them, and I have no idea how this is going to go. So I may not do so well, but it'll be cool to be at the event. It is Valorant, 2K, Smash, and there's one more. Don't remember the last one. That's how good I'm doing.
Great.
Fired.
Well, that should be fired. I'll take the job, mate. Cheers. Boop, where can the people find you?
You can find me at BoopNL_ on Twitter for the best takes on Twitter, and then twitch.tv/Coach Boop. Probably going to be watching some pro scrims after this, which is literally going on in like 2 minutes. MongosCon by Teeny. It's gonna be a vibe.
Well, yeah, we are watching, like right now we are streaming live on Boop's Twitch channel. So if you're in the Twitch channel for Boop, just stay here when the stream ends and refresh. Boop will go live straight away.
Instantly.
Yeah, literally, he's got the button ready.
What are you doing, Levin?
I am going to be working on more content stuff. So if you're watching this live or just watching it today, the first episode of Hotline FN today is going live later in the evening at more of like a EU/NA friendly time. It's like 10 p.m. UK. So whatever that time is for you. It's going to be me, Ozzy, and Vivid. We're going to be taking calls from people from the community. Hopefully you guys call in. I hope you guys here call in. That'd be nice.
I'll use a voice changer.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious. That would actually be very, very funny. But yeah, we're gonna be running that. I'm looking forward to that. And then yeah, just more and more stuff, getting ready for the broadcast on the weekend and all that boring stuff. So yeah, man, nothing too crazy, but
sounds good.
We're here.
Yeah, where can they watch it? Where can they watch the?
You can watch it. That's bloody. I'm terrible at promoting. Yeah, you can watch it live on twitch.tv/AussieAntics. It'll be live there at 10 p.m. UK. So yeah, if you wanna do that, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. If you've made it so far to this part of the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, anything, comment down below. Boop has a nice hat. If you've made it this far in the podcast, so that we know you're a real one. All right. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you all very, very soon.